personally involved or responsible for what be happened that time. They have not been in any position for prevent them because neither to the head of state or deputy head of state forget that power for stop them from happening.
At one stage, I thought we don't have more than $30 million just for economic development projects. To build one road alone, 1 kilometer of road costs you nearly $1 million. To have 1 kilowatt of electricity.
Just 4 weeks ago, we confirmed that we have 2 billion barrels of petroleum. Yes, sir. The poorest country in the world now discovers 2 billion barrels, commercially viable petroleum and gas resources on what we call our Venus plot. It's just the first one. Question: will this just be pumped out and sold to the rest of the world? Do our people not have a right to access to electricity?
Things that what they do as president, the appointment are all based on a yearly basis. Every ministerial position, every deputy positions, every ambassadorial position, every top corporation jobs them now 1 year. I give you 3 sets of goals: 3 month goals, 6 month goal, and 1 year goal. If you make it 3 months, you go to 6 months. If you make a 6 month goal, you go to 1 year. After the 1 year, all of that finish this. If the evaluation where me and my vice president get for evaluate you, if you not reach to that scorecard we talk about, they will let you go with another person they can do it.
The Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone, it's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard. That I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone. It goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone, West Africa, and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part. And I know history will judge all of us.
I think we have been fighting corruption in this country based on legislative procedures, legislation. But that's one step. I call it the one-legged solution. If we want to address the issue of corruption in Sierra Leone, we're serious about it. Those that are behind the desk of trust need to understand that they are there to serve the people, not to serve themselves.
Me family Munakabo, welcome to Sheriff's Broadcast Network, the place also where they bring Africa live to whosoever you day around the globe. Of course, as we see within the innovation room today, it's obvious that we get for the NIASO because then they do some maintenance now with Blue Room, of course, and so we get for bring the broadcast to now today from the innovation room right here in studio number 8, and of course. Mina Ibrahim Sheriff Namigo be una host for the next hour or so. Of course, if this is not your first time for joining we want to take opportunity of this moment for officially welcome you to Sheriff's Broadcast Network. And of course, for I sure you say you don't take the right decision for Canada, the right place. Of course, NIASO waiting what they do, they bring you news, information, and education on issues that are pertinent to Sierra Leone and to Sierra Leoneans. And so over the past week, of course, when I don't see plenty things that don't happen at Sierra Leone, the elected vice president, where the president been sacked, of course, been taken in case. The Supreme Court of Sierra Leone be done the rule on that case in favor of the president. the elected vice president decided to take that case to the ECOWAS courts. Of course, the ECOWAS Community Court, where in a court where the ECOWAS community established. And of course, in the past week, the court don't make a verdict on that case. And of course, plenty things that will happen on the side of the elected vice president and on the side of the government and on the side of ECOWAS. We'll get for bring all of that to una today for let una go really understand what's in the gist of the information or all of the things in the episode where we don't transpire. And of course, we also get for talk to the National Electoral Commissioner, of course, Mr. Mohamed N'fa Alie Conteh, for let us talk to him exclusively on the electoral process in the country now that they don't issue the voter identification cards. And plenty, they come up with some issues. Then where people then feel say these cards then get issues. And so we talked to him, a very interesting, conversation about that. So we'll get to talk to him live from Freetown, Sierra Leone. And of course, as we all know, we get for also talk to one of the legal minds, lawyers. Then we understand some of the understand the Sierra Leonean law and of course the law surrounding the ECOWAS Community Court. For Lego explain to we exactly waiting now the ruling of the ECOWAS Court. So plenty things and they will get for come to una today. So one for me wanna continue for stick around as we continue for bring the program to una. Of course, once more mina Ibrahim Sheriff, namigo be una host now. So me family one for una stick around with us.
Personally involved or responsible for waiting be happen that time. They have not been in any position for prevent them because minute to be head of state or deputy head of state forget that power for stop them from happening.
At one stage, I thought we don't have more than $30 million just for economic development projects. To build one road alone, 1 kilometer of road costs you nearly $1 million. To have 1 kilowatt of electricity.
Just 4 weeks ago, we confirmed that we have 2 billion barrels of petroleum. Yes, sir. The poorest country in the world now discovers 2 billion barrels, commercially viable petroleum and gas resources on what we call our Venus plot. It's just the first one. Question: will this just be pumped out and sold to the rest of the world? Do our people not have a right to access to electricity?
Things that what I do as president, my appointment are all based on a yearly basis. Every ministerial position, every deputy positions, every ambassadorial position, every top corporation jobs them now 1 year. I give you 3 sets of goals: 3 month goals, 6 month goal, and 1 year goal. If you make it 3 months, you go to 6 months. If you make a 6 month goal, you go to 1 year. After the 1 year, all of that finish this. If the evaluation where me and my vice president get for evaluate you, if you don't reach to that scorecard we they talk about, they will let you go with another person they can do it.
The Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone, it's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard that I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today. in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone. It goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone, West Africa, and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part, and I know history will judge all of us.
I think we have been fighting corruption in this country based on legislative procedures, legislation. But that's one step. I call it the one-legged solution. If we want to address the issue of corruption in Sierra Leone, we're serious about it. Those that are behind the desk of trust need to understand that they are there to serve the people, not to serve themselves.
Don't tell politicians that the fool. Wisely.
And this time here, beaucoup people they aspire for the presidency. But this time, we serve one of the people then for know the kind possible for votes for. Where tomorrow we go gladly and say salon do better. Because the decision what we they make during election time go determine if salon go sweet for we all. So make we vote, yeah?
Election time don't reach oh, na salon. Time for votes don't reach oh, na salon. Now you right for votes. Grab go vote. Tomorrow make you not say if I be no. Election time don't reach oh, na salon. Time for votes don't reach oh, na salon. Now you right for votes. Grab go vote. Tomorrow make you not say if I be no. Think fine oh, be fumble. Remember good oh, be fumble. How you want salon for day oh? Now the time don't reach so. Grab go vote for who that you want make it lead way.
Election time don't come again. Fumble then na for think well oh. This country for me we focus. As you all the votes for who that go make mama salo sweet again. Not to them this for first and you can kill me brother. I let you not be what be said. There is again. We all now one people. You know what libena jarama. We all now one people. So make we live for them tia. When they make salon they cry. Make we live for them tia. When they make salon they cry. Make we live tribalism, nepotism. Make we come together. Make we live tribalism, nepotism. Make we come together as one.
APC, EMEC, NGC, ADP, PDP, Akwamuko Yabate. Salomedi, Mupela Mumye.
Election time don't reach oh, na salon. Time for votes don't reach oh, na salon. Now you right for votes. Grab go vote. Tomorrow make you not say if I be no. Election time don't reach oh, na salon. Time for votes don't reach oh, na salon. Now you right for votes. Grab go vote. Tomorrow make you not say if I be no.
for color. That time don't pass for say I dey vote for Fambu. Party business, all of business. Fambu business, 9 down West alone. Now we come out north, now we come out south, now we come out east, now we come out west. All them thing here, 9 down West alone. West alone fine, he go fine for we all. West alone poil, he go poil for we all. Take time for vote, take time for vote. Go for your conscience, go for the right man. Go for your conscience for Necsl, man.
Politicians go come and give we all them plans, but make we be wise, make we detect all the lies. If salon good now for we all, if it spoil we all go suffer. So think twice, oh, and cast your vote. Make we cast we vote.
Now the time is for we all. Sierra Leoneans for make a black and white decision. Make we no go say tomorrow if I be no. Now him they come last. No sell the votes for beggar pack. No sell them for one bag rest. Tomorrow you know a good rest. Put you up a stress inside this rich nation. Sierra Leone.
Election time don't reach oh, na salon. Time for votes don't reach oh, na salon. Now you ride for votes, grab go vote. Tomorrow make you not say if I be no. Election time don't reach oh, na salon. Time for votes don't reach oh, na salon. Now you ride for votes, grab go vote. Tomorrow make you not say if I be no. You dey ade obayaso, e no mean nothing no. We all are one family. Na salon you dey papa no both pan party. E no mean nothing no. We all are one family. Na salon election same go. E go pass, then go dey chill and enjoy the left with pan yakba. Do ya me brother and sister, them let we not fair to yourself oh. Election time go.
Now you right, me brother. Not so bad right, not civil right. And when you vote for the right person, me sister, salon go bright. We no go know the difference between day and night. We just go dey move from height to height. Now so we all go dey feel alright.
You see this election where they come now this nation. We really need for change with perception. No vote for person because in a mende. No vote for person because in a timini. No vote for person because in a limba. Now this we don't do say we dey cry. Vote for development because it's salon sweet. It's sweet for we all. If salon poil, it poil for we all. And for change the way. One bag rest, no they give we development. Beggar pack, no they give we development. Fed pest and couscous, no they give we development. Make we change the way.
Woman self get the eyes for party oh. Do you let we no left na us yo. Once you know 18 years and you be don't register, make we tell we other for push salon go before. But for the right policy, we go bring development.
time for votes don't reach. Oh, now Salon, now you right for votes. You don't tell politicians that they're fooling in this country.
Time don't reach na Salon, of course. Now you right for votes. Now you right for vote, of course. One small one for welcome now to Sheriff's Broadcast Network. The place also will bring news and information to you live from Freetown, Sierra Leone, or from Sierra Leone as a country. Of course, at the time this again way Sierra Leoneans then get for make critical decisions in the life of the country. And also we all the talk say, oh, we country not they go before, we country they bien, we country not they prosper. Well, we all they contribute for later when they happen. Of course, the one cast way they go cast your votes on March 7, 2018 get a lot for do with how Sierra Leone get for develop. Whether Sierra Leone get for go before or it get for go bien. I mean, we understand, say, the prevailing circumstances in the country is so very desperate, so very hard on our people, you know, where young people very energetic, ready to work, but there's no job or there are no jobs. And of course, we get a brain drain in the country. All my one for left the country, go now even the neighboring Guinea or Liberia, because then if you say life better and then side and they pass as Sierra Leone. And so the prevailing circumstances sometimes can force people then for making, you know, involved in actions where they put Salon bien. But if only we all go decide for make sacrifice this particular time for move the country forward, I think say that's going to help a lot. And the way we for them now the way we would vote. I mean, plenty time we all the talk say, you know, Salon people the way campaign election time would they vote on sentiment, would they vote for people them, even though we know say they're not go able for move the country go before, but would they vote for them anyway because of other reasons. And those reasons are so sentimental to the development of the country. You know, go able then reasons they're not go able for help the country for move forward, right? Would they vote for people then based on the sabi or sabi them, based on the facts say, you know, they sabi talk, you know, based on the facts say, oh, then people here then get they be done they live in a first world. So in fact, if we give them the country, then go able move them forward. Or then people here now we all not the same tribe, or we all not the same region we come out, not the same language we speak. We go to the same school, the same college, you know, them kind of sentiments them. We not they look at the reality of the situation, you know, looking at the predicament we'll find the country in right about this time. And you know, Sierra Leone is just about 7 million people, you know, which is less than just a little bit above the population of New York City, when a one great city inside America, you know. So Sierra Leone need for do something now at this point for able for move this country forward. We don't cry too much, you know. So now we need to move forward. And so we like the song, you know, election time don't come. Of course, that's now a song we are promoted by the National Electoral Commission. And of course, today we'll get for talk to the chairman of that commission, Mr. Mohamed N'fa Alie Conteh, when I'm at the head of the entire elections we get for take place in Sierra Leone in 2018. We'll get for talk to her exclusively about everything, the preparedness of the National Electoral Commission, the voter identification cards that whether they issue where people then say problems, then they pan them, and of course the government we don't stop for give funding to the National Electoral Commission. We'll get for talk to them about all of them. So me fam with them, we want for me to stick around as we continue for do that. But of course, inside the past week as well, when I all been there, when I don't really say the case where the elected vice president of Sierra Leone began for Kergo at the ECOWAS Community Court. That case, the ECOWAS Community Court don't pass a judgment on that case in this past week. And of course, they don't rule in favor of the elected vice president, Alhaji Abubakar Siddiqui Sam Sumana. They say the government for PM all in salary from the time when Saka when I be March 7, 2015 on to present time. And also then if you say if supposed for able for occupying sit back as the vice president of the country elected by the people. And so we'll get for go into all the nitty-gritty of all the thing and day and how how the ECOWAS rule on the case. We get for talk to very renowned lawyers. Of course, a lawyer, we don't talk to plenty lawyers then, but the one we bold enough for come forward and talk to we live on screen. We get for talk to our lawyer, lawyer Kevin Metzger, of course, in the United Kingdom. We get for talk to her exclusively for Lego, enlighten we a little bit about, ECOWAS, the ECOWAS Community Court, the case that where the Vice President take now that court day, and all of that. We get for talk to her and plenty on 19 day. We also get for look at the analysis of waiting Sam Sumana say and waiting lawyers then say and waiting the government say, especially the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, whether Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara. We'll get for talk to all the one and day. So we get a package load of information we'll get for bring come to that today. And the reason why we do all of this now, because one, now a passion we'll get. We like for do this. We like for positively contribute to Sierra Leone. I mean, we all the talk say we country not to go before, but if one for let this country go before, we all get for do things them in different ways them for able for move the country forward. If na talk you the talk we go make salon go before, then do the talking. If na sing you the sing we go make salon go before, do the singing. If na broadcast, let we broadcast. So anything where you do, if not right, they right. Anything where you do for able for move salon forward, you get for them. So that's not one of the reasons why we deny and we bring this kind of information to una. And the other reason is because, especially for we Sierra Leoneans within the diaspora, we get a lot of impact on we people in Sierra Leone. So we're able to understand these issues better than the people that are the ground because, one, they not get the level of, they not get the apparatus, then we're able to explain to them in layman terms. For me, they're able to understand waiting really at the issues. Now that making a clear with the talk now so for let it reach anybody who able for come around for able for catch up with the broadcast for me really understand what they talk about. Right? And so now that we get for doing so today. So let us see waiting Alhaji Abubakar Siddiqui Sam Sumana say immediately we ECOWAS passed the verdict in case. Let's see that.
Sorry, tall. The Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone. It's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard that I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone. It goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone. West Africa and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part, and I know history will judge all of us.
And we clarified with them what they meant by that. You would notice that all his pay, his emoluments, all his entitlements of office are supposed to be paid back to him from the day he was removed from office to date. This is in line with the fact that the removal was illegal. Secondly, the court has indicated that the Secretariat would assess the costs which will be paid to him. So when we clarified the issue of costs, they said that it will be processed. As you know, it involves calculations. And sometimes you can't just give a direct figure without investigation and elaboration of the heads of damage. That's what happened in court. And we are going to take all the legal and political measures that are necessary to ensure that the decisions of this court are enforced.
Thank you, sir. Wow, we're not waiting the ECOWAS court say. Of course, the ECOWAS don't talk. Of course, me family them. The Alhaji Sam Sumana in lawyer don't talk say. Then get for do everything possible legally and politically for ensure say the decision of the court, the ECOWAS Community Court are enforced. Wow, I don't know what that mean. I mean, immediately after that verdict they don't pass, where this lawyer don't give a press conference, we don't talk the way we talk. We see what happened at Freetown. We see a drastic changes in the security apparatus of the country, the leadership of the security apparatus, the military, the police, the national security. We see changes drastically. But we'll come back to that one later on. But what's important now also is that the Alhaji Abubakar Siddiqui Sam Sumana, the elected vice president, don't talk say this case will go now. The ECOWAS courts, not carry this case here because of money. It can go because it want to set a positive precedent that no other person in the life of Sierra Leone go able to violate the constitution of Sierra Leone the way the president violate the constitution of the country. And I don't know why, you know, the president not be able to grasp the concept. Because now after when Mr. don't talk to lawyers, them not able to understand really, you know, for say most of us will be demonstrate at the time when the president be sacked the elected vice president, that we were right for demonstrating, for protesting against that decision. We were right for doing it because when I at some point, we can show now when the president says if some meeting we all somewhere, I think that be the United Nations way kind of UN in New York. He meets with few of the APC people, and when they talk to them, he tell them say the decision we then take for expel Alhaji Sam Sumana from the APC, not a decision we been based on biasness. Now decision where the top guns, the top guys in the APC, when they sit down, they discuss, and when they arrive at, and that the elected vice president get right for appeal the case. Now, if you don't talk, see the person get right for appeal the case, then you're not getting a chance for me to go through the appeal process, and then you go ahead for institute other punishment based on the previous punishment, because the sacking of the vice president was predicated on the fact that he has been expelled from the APC. And with the understanding of the president that when once you no longer belong to a political party, then that don't give the supreme authority for me to go get rid of the vice president, even though not to elect him as vice president of the country. So there was a misconstrue the whole thing. Whatever they advised the president at that time, they all misconstrue the whole legal, you know, ramifications of that action. You know, they misconstrue everything. But anyway, we'll get for come to all of the analysis then. But let us hear waiting Alhaji Abubakar Siddiqui Sam Sumana say to the BBC after they don't pass the verdict. Let's hear that too.
Of restoring the dignity of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, that the president was not correct to remove me from office. The fiscal issue is not paramount to me. I am very pleased with the judgment we received today.
Would that money not help you, though, in your presidential ambitions as part of your campaign in the coalition?
Sierra Leone needs that money better than I do. That is the decision of the court, and Sierra Leone being a signatory to the ECOWAS protocol, I don't think my country should or President Nkrumah would walk away from that. And that being the fact, then it means I'm going back to work and to continue to serve my country.
That's very interesting, because your government didn't actually even make a showing, we understand. They didn't actually make a representation at the court, almost seeming that they didn't see the relevance, some would argue. So do you think they're going to be welcoming you back with open arms?
Well, we have to look at the facts of the judgment. And the facts of the judgment makes it very clear that what the president did at that time to remove me from office was illegal. And that the court furthered that I should go back to work and all of my remuneration should be paid from the day he made this announcement until now, until the point that my term expires as the elected vice president of Sierra Leone.
If you do go back to claim your post, you have how many more months before the end of your tenure?
3 months, but precisely it's not an issue of how many months more do I have. A single day makes a difference, because that will be what the ruling of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone will be expunged from the books of Sierra Leone, that what the president did was illegal. It's not the number of days left, it's the principle behind it, that what he did was wrong. Even if we have 1 hour left, it's very important to me and the people of Sierra Leone.
If you have already made it quite clear, as I seem to think, that you are now no longer part of the president's party, you've now formed or you're part of the opposition, how is that going to work if 3 months to the elections you're both in government but championing different parties' causes?
Well, it depends on the individuals. For me, I'm a peaceful person. He's in his party and he's exiting, and I'm in my own party and I'm pursuing the leadership of my country. For me, if we're in the same in leadership, going back to office, and he's running his office and I work with him, I am not working with him as Koroma, President Koroma. I'm working with him as the president of Sierra Leone. And I'm working in my capacity. So we have to obey what the Constitution ascribed, and also going by what we took, the oath of office we took.
And are you sure you'll get the backing? I mean, do you really feel people will have that faith in you, that confidence in you, that you can be the president of Sierra Leone, in view of the fact that there have been a number of allegations, not just of defecting from the party, but there have been certain rumors over the years which you've had to dispel? Is that something, a major challenge for you?
That is not a challenge for me, because they were all baseless and they were set up. And I have proof to it, and I will tender those proofs when the time is right.
The former or now reinstated Vice President of Sierra Leone, according to ECOWAS.
And so me found with them now the former or the reinstated Vice President of Sierra Leone. Of course, at least we will say so, reinstated, because even though the ECOWAS Court been very careful for making them not go interfere into the decision of the Supreme Court, because the court no one for meddle into the domestic laws of Sierra Leone, because the court's not a human rights court, and so the decision a human rights decision would they make. But at least they came out and said that the Supreme Court or the president was not right for remove the elected vice president from his position. In fact, now that make way, then they ask him for then they ask the government for money and pay the vice president back. They're entitled to that money there. And so we don't hear it from the elected vice president. They don't make emphasis on the fact that this whole issue is not about money. This whole issue is about precedent where it don't set for lepers to not go grab again in the future and violate the Constitution of Sierra Leone, right? And so the SLBC, whether the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, began for talk to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice in the presence of Mr. Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara, where then they commonly call as JFK, and waiting to be in response to this whole thing. Now the man we want to see on the big screen right now. Of course, we know the government don't reject this whole process. One, they don't talk, say, then tell the ECOWAS Community Court, say, they not they participate in the hearing or the case where the elected vice president can go at the court. They not they participate by that case. They as a government, because they say the ECOWAS Community Court not get right for look into that case any further, because the Supreme Court don't pass judgment on that case, right? And so this now the legal areas the way we could talk to lawyers there about this whole issue, you know, because we don't see who say, number one, other Sierra Leoneans them. There was a Lebanese man of Wanza or something like that, who been sell gunboats in Sierra Leone. And of course, will not be ever paying for that gunboats day. So it can't go that case day to the ECOWAS court. Of course, the ECOWAS court began for rule on that case day, and the Sierra Leone government ended up compensating that Lebanese man for that gunboat. And also another police officer, when I been El Tayiba, a name like that, began for cargo the government to the ECOWAS court, and then pass a judgment, then wrong the government, and the government began for compensate that policeman. You know, and so we don't know waiting at the difference between the cases and this case here. So now that make way, we've been very keen, of course, for talk to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and of course tomorrow I don't agree for an exclusive interview, and of course today self a one for jump in. By the time we will talk to the legal mind at the United Kingdom, JFK, we don't agree for say it will come on. So we'll try for see if we're able for Brian come on, you know, at that time. But anyway, let's listen to what he say at the time where the SLBC ask a question on this issue. Stick around.
I say they don't get mandate. They don't get mandate. If you're in the courts,
if they don't get mandate, why the former vice president go use this courts? Now they ask.
Well, I say that question that's for them. Now if you for goody, what do they say is we the courts don't get mandate to do this case. If you choose for goody, if you see my right, it was his entitlement. But we they say as a government, we're not interested in the matter, we don't recognize the decision, we don't accept the decision.
Take this make anything as a government?
Not at all, not at all. Waiting and don't do the ECOWAS Court from the beginning. We inform the registry of the ECOWAS Court, say, we know they participate. We will not get legitimacy for looking into this matter. We courts then don't decide. It starts from the High Court. It go through it go to the Supreme Court. And with Constitution, now the Supreme Court no more get powerful interpreter. And we get 9 judges at the Supreme Court. In their wisdom, they don't decide the matter, how they decide them. Whether you gladly or not gladly, we accept it in the Supreme Court say. Because at the end of the day, now the ultimate arbiter where the Constitution made provision for. If we don't respect the Supreme Court's decision now, tomorrow ECOWAS Court can't tell us to change the president. What you could do?
Maybe somebody they go to say that now a different case altogether.
You know different too. If they don't begin to say una reinstate una vice president, una give money to this, una do that one day, then it means they don't have limits to their powers. They could go beyond that. And what's important now is the member states them. No me ever tell them say ECOWAS na economic courts. That is how it started. Now to make sure that there's an economic integration, not to political court, not to court for certain political disputes. Now so small, then begin draw jurisdiction to themselves. They give themselves power. Say them don't reach side, they don't reach to the elected. Say them they defend fundamental human rights. All waiting in the time for do now for make sure they interfere into the domestic politics of individual countries. That is not what was signed for by the government of Sierra Leone when we entered the ECOWAS Treaty. And I think we settle all disputes finally. We get matter. They go before the High Court. They go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decide that we as a country, with judicial sovereignty, will not ever get to no other institution.
So somebody go to wonder then why the ECOWAS, if they not get that power, why then they for overturn the highest, courts in the land, a decision where they already the courts don't take?
Well, I think we don't agree. Because sometimes when you see the international institutions, they are the international courts, then they talk to people, forum for jurisdiction, and they go and film psyche study so that they will get all the importance where they need. In this particular instance, they don't get right to listen to this case. The Supreme Court don't decide. The same thing happened in Nigeria. Nigeria at a point, they refuse to even participate. In another case, in Ghana, they rule against the Ghanaian government. The Ghanaian government refused to do what they ask for. So not to the first thing is they not begin what you call interfering into domestic sovereignty issues.
So then people had a call for several issues has to do with compensation and other issues. The mere fact that you don't talk say even they not recognize and Sierra Leone not to a party to this treaty. So which means all waiting the court to ask for and not get for adhere to as a government.
Well, I say I don't know to party to the treaty, not to the ECOWAS treaty they talk about.
I know what they talk, sir. Now this the court treaty now they talk about.
The court protocols.
The protocols, yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Do the time for say here is that the court say them for compensate them for in salary, we they tend away, work with them for pay for this and that. I say there are issues in there about labor but who cannot pay salary. We get procedure now we country for that. If the Alhaji Sam Sumana feel say they owe money by the government but well salary, procedure then we country we can apply and see if we go get them.
Now what's procedure that one they for follow so?
Yes, generally in the public general orders, we receive civil servants and public servants. If they dismiss you, you need to get claims of benefits. Then the general provisions of law. But if you sure say he gets entitlement, he can come. He apply. You say if you apply, for let them pay you. You get the human resource department. You get the public service department. You can go, you apply, say, I entitled to so and so, and let them pay me. If you don't say get that right, they like apply.
No, but in this case, you said don't mention saying dismiss, and so which means automatically not entitled to all the things the way the court they ask for now.
When I make a say, when they dismiss you, you're not entitled to them benefits. But if you feel so you're entitled, then there's a procedure.
We say they're not participating.
The courts not do nothing for Salon, which are they say, we get beaucoup protocols the way the courts they do for sign. Salon no sign this particular one about enforcement on judgment, and for let them see them prevail over with Supreme Court. With Supreme Court by the Constitution, like the ultimate court in our country, where you don't decide a case, you don't do. This is the first step ever. We ECOWAS Court.
Now the response that one day will come from the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Sierra Leone, of course, Mr. Joseph Fitzgerald Kamara. I mean, the thing we not able to understand is that, you know, there are, just like I don't mention before, there are other instances where the Sierra Leonean government, we don't they compensate or we don't they comply with the ruling of the ECOWAS Court. I mean, you waiting the Attorney General and Minister of Justice talk. They talk say some of them courts there, the international courts there, then they go create a case, outside case not supposed for day. So in essence, they talk say there was no need for them to have, you know, interfered with this case because the Supreme Court we don't pass judgment of this case on this case here. But the substance of this matter, me not a lawyer. But after we don't talk to lawyers them now, I don't become a little enlightened as far as this case is concerned. The substance of this matter, or the crux of this matter, is that they are not talking about interfering into the domestic laws of Sierra Leone. They are talking about an issue of human rights. You remove the man, okay, then expel the man from the APC. And when you expel somebody from a political party, the person get right for appeal that case day. For say, you will not get right for expel me. And until that person they go through that appeal process, you know, we will not go take any other action, legal action, until that appeal process is complete. But as we all know, the thing will happen so fast that as the APC don't expel Sam Sumana, right away, a couple of days, now the president sack him. So the president and the government of Sierra Leone not give Alhaji Sam Sumana the time for making go able for go through the appeal process for justify as to whether an expulsion from the APC was justifiable or it was legal. If they begin that chance, they go through all the process and then complete the process and then talk say the APC was right for expelling him, then of course the president get right for removal. But it not allowed Alhaji Sam Sumana for go through that process. So the ECOWAS court they look at and say it was against his human dignity the way he was treated. I mean, the violation of a constitution that now we are internal business now, right? Now we are internal business now. Now we supposed to handle that. But the human dignity was taken away from the vice president of the country, because he was not given the right for making go appeal the case where they expel him from the APC. So that is the premise of this. But the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, being that he is a lawyer, I am a little very amazed that he's not able to understand this premise for say, you are not talking about a constitutional case here. You are now talking about a human rights case. And it was on that basis that this ruling was passed. But then, you know, some of we be on the plenty side who say Alhaji Abubakar Siddiqui Sam Sumana don't go for interviews over the media. One of the key questions where people then they ask is, you know, where journalists then they ask is, there was a very friendly and cozy relationship between the president and the vice president. There was a very good relationship between them. And so people they don't know waiting happen where this whole relationship goes sour. We just turn bitter. The president stopped for talk to the vice president. It's supposed stop for deal with him. People they don't know. So let we get an explanation from the elected vice president himself as to waiting at some of the efforts then where it try and other people then try for me them able for bring in and the president together, where the president not agree for accept, and where he go ahead and play all these political, you know, things them, you know, before ever they expel him or then they expel him from the APC and end up for sack him from his position as the elected vice president of the country. Let's see that.
Well, to be honest with you, sometimes when the way you call her, where I call her, I know the answer. So what will happen? I begin to talk to elders of the party.
That's how this works. What do you do for try for
Fine.
men?
I talk to elders of the party. I call them. I talk to his wife. I explain to her. We talk to her. Mr. personally, they meet her big brother. I saw the call her. I say, Mr. President. I say, let's say something to you. I don't know which thing they go wrong. For me, you know do me no wrong. If me do any wrong, they are forgive me because I know they understand what thing they go on. I say the way they do things with me, it don't make me worrisome. And you know what will happen next? I not even stop, but all of the areas, the other people the way I tell. So then they go call her, then they go meet her. They go tell and say, okay, I go call, no, meet. I'm glad people, some elders of the party, including Palivas, the all, DF shares them. Ambassador Dauda, the only one they make attempt. But people. But guess what, Madam Mariama? I not stop also only with the Sierra Leonean big people then, or the party big people then. Even when I go on a trip to Nigeria, I approach in colleague Jonathan Goodluck, then president of Nigeria, and wife. I talk to her, I say, dear, I talk to your husband. Me and my boss, they get issues. I don't understand what's in the happen. I say, talk to her, make it talk to my boss. Let this indifference is done. You know, that was the reason why Mrs. Goodluck been calm now. Now that make it calm. And when it calm, I tell you, that woman did the traditional thing. He kneeled down to President Nkrumah, myself and First Lady will kneel down and say, dear President Nkrumah, forgive this young man, take us your brother, and this is Ibrahim, but take us your small brother, when I work together. I go tell you, brother and friend, President Goodluck say, I don't solve this problem. We thought that was over. And over. Waiting happen, I don't know. That's the $1 million question. Waiting really happen. Waiting go wrong. So because you not complain me one day to my own people then. You not call me wife or in wife call me wife complain. You not call me elders then I cannot district for complain. You not call any of the party elders then complain saying so I do. But so that was the difficult thing. Because if somebody do something not correct, then they will say so and so. Well, to be honest with you,
all right. And so, my family, when I do you waiting the elected vice president talk at the time where the president get for Sakam. And you know, we don't hear plenty on the side of the vice president, and we don't extend an invitation through the embassy of Sierra Leone in Washington D.C. Through the ambassador, you know, His Excellency Mr. Bokari Stevens. He don't respond back to we. He don't forward with invitation to the president for Mokugo Giam an exclusive interview on this channel on all of these issues. Because some of we still believe, say, despite all of these things where they go on, we are first Sierra Leoneans. We all, na Salon people them. All this bad blood, we don't need them in the country. You know, Sierra Leoneans, we always good at forgiving each other and moving forward. Waiting ever happen between the president and the vice president, it don't reach an apex right now. Nobody no need for knocking chairs, pulling chairs by each other. Because when that happen, they say when elephants then fed, now the grass now they suffer. Nobody no need for pull chairs by each other. The president no need for reshuffle in security just because of the ECOWAS court decision. And, you know, Alhaji Sam Sumana, no need for galvanize anything for, you know, come back and take in seat like that. We believe in dialogue. I mean, plenty times the elected vice president don't give audience to the media house, to journalists, then he don't talk. The president, he don't decide for keep Mumupa this case. And we say it is time for him to come forward and able for talk to Sierra Leoneans them all over the world, for many able for understand as to what really happened will lead to all of this sacking, expulsion, sacking, and the case going to ECOWAS court, and all of these things. We are Sierra Leoneans, and we not for the keep malice. We not forget bad blood. We country don't go through a lot. You know, 11 years of brutal civil war, 50,000 Sierra Leoneans killed, 2 million Sierra Leoneans displaced. Some became refugees in other countries. Most have not returned back. You know, Ebola crisis, mudslide, all of this evil stuff where they happen in the country. If only the leadership, then they engage themselves into real discourse, these things will not happen. So we have extended an invitation to His Excellency, the President of Sierra Leone, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, for him to appear on Sheriff's Broadcast Network. And we want to take this opportunity for tell a lot of thanks to His Excellency, the Ambassador and Director of Mission at the Sierra Leone Embassy in Washington, D.C., because it don't forward with invitation to the President. So if the President is hearing us, hopefully, or they see with the broadcast, that's the go tell and say we have extended the same opportunity to him, because not only the Vice President they talk. And you know, sometimes when you say silence, when you stay silent on issues, it becomes understandable that allegations made about you not true, because you know they talk, right? So now that we're able to understand that. But anyway, so at some point, we all know, say, when this issue happened at Sierra Leone, where the president sacked the elected vice president, you know, it kind of New York, you know, by UN conference, and somewhere which I meet with some of the APC people, them, it began for actually tell them what happened. And you know, I want for let listen to waiting the president be say, and let me try for catch up with some important stuff we talk about, right? Stick around.
As a party, we are within the provision of we own party constitution. Activities, we are clearly anti-party activities. We a committee set up, they investigate and then take months for doing, and not do with any malice, then do in the best interest of the party. At the end of the all, NAC meet, and it was a unanimous decision. The whole of NAC meet and then take a decision we can get for pronounce, and we are committed to that position, and we believe in it, and there is not going to be change from that position. Yes, we get right for appeal to the delegates conference or what have you. Yes, we're going to have an emergency conference on it, and it will look at the position and take a position on the matter. So until such time, he is still an expelled member of the party, and when the delegates conference meets, then we will look around and we will move forward from that point. As president, I believe, I take an action within the realm of the constitution. I do them constitutionally, and if anybody say it is not constitutionally done, make it come with the evidence. And the only institution now responsible for interpreting that is the Supreme Court, and the matter is in the Supreme Court. I'm not going to make too much comment on it because the matter is in the Supreme Court. But I take the action we take within the authority of the Constitution, and I'm convinced in it, and there's no turning back on it. So that is where we are in terms of then two issues indeed. But people will want to make actions out of it. Me, I'm not distracted.
Thank you.
I get a job to do.
Yes.
Thank you. The social media, not to be constituency. The social media today on, when they do things, the people in the country, they vote. And I may get the constitutional mandate given to me by, as a party, take.
All right, and so me from when we don't hear waiting the president talk about this issue. One area I will say the president talk inside this talk here. So the president say the vice president with Isaac get right for appeal the case, right? Now, when you talk about somebody get right for appeal something, if that person they not go through that appeal process, and then you went ahead and take another decision beyond the first decision where you're supposed to appeal, then of course I know say it is you are using or over exercising your own powers where you feel say you get. I mean, the president feels say that supreme authority where they inside the constitution if for use them fully. But at least why should they use them powers then? They not forget say you are trampling upon the human rights of another individual. This is a human right issue. Because I mean, let me put it into real perspective, me family them. This will not talk this because we're against the president or we're in favor of Alhaji Sam Sumana. But I will put this whole thing in a proper perspective. You get a boss where you are into the work. But this boss here, if they refuse for talk to you, then some of your duties then as that in your capacity as the vice president, if they take them duties then away from you and assign them to somebody else, or incessant take care of them duties them. And when you ask them what I don't do, they talk nothing. You get at people then say, do I want to ask this man what I don't do? They talk nothing. They all beg them, they do nothing. So it confused the man. Right? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that was very personal. And both of these guys were in that office not for their personal relationship. They were in that office elected by the people of Sierra Leone to do the job for the country. So sometimes you get to go above pettiness and no say you are in a position being elected to. It is the people that elected both of these guys to go into that office and do the work for the people. So plenty time what they talk say, oh, we country they bien, we country not they go before. Now because of this petty stuff then where they go on. I mean, when I don't elect people that for me they work for now, they don't go. Then they can do like live business, petty business. Whatever happened between these two guys. I mean, they don't forget the fact, say, Mr. President, you are the president of Sierra Leone. You are the president of the entire Sierra Leonean people, both at home and abroad. And so why you for allow petty issue, for overpower your judgment, for able for rule the country the way you're supposed to run right? You know? And so now this now the essence of the ECOWAS community as well. Because plenty time and then before the establishment of the ECOWAS community, countries that they do things fitty fatter to people them or to their citizens that we're not they come inside. But then it is good that the ECOWAS community came into play. And of course, the first person who signed the treaty of the ECOWAS treaty was in fact an APC president, Shaka Stevens. Now he signed inside 1975. We can't talk about that one day later on. Right? So my whole issue here is why the APC government not give Alhaji Sam Sumana time for me to go through the appeal process. What was the rush? And this whole thing happened in the middle of the Ebola crisis. This man, one point bodyguards, don't contract the disease. They don't die. In safe, in wife and family, they don't worry for their life. They don't decide for quarantine in safe. Why is it not that quarantine? Now the time where the APC then go make this decision. I mean, this is so inhuman. I mean, anybody where you really be follow that story there, you gonna say no matter how you did against somebody, not to then tell them they will salon people and they can die. The Auditor General of the country don't come up with a report that about $14 million of the money, whether in people and sorry for we send out of the country for fight the Ebola disease, that money don't go into oblivion, it don't lost, we don't know who say go. Then at that same time, they want to go after a single Sierra Leonean on very trivia issues. Trivia, because up to today, I don't know what's in the 4 reasons that way APC come up with, they have not been substantiated. And the president has not spoken on waiting at the major crime where Alhaji Sam Sumana commit will make them actually get rid of him. In the middle of the Ebola crisis, that's what some of us don't understand. Right? That's what some of us don't understand. So if we don't get born inside we as Sierra Leoneans, therefore actually try to get to the bottom of this whole issue. And so we decided to talk to Alhaji Sam Sumana as well on this particular issue. Right? So let's see what he been saying. We'll talk to him. His Excellency, talking about the court, that now the ECOWAS court, after the Supreme Court don't pass judgment on that case, they will cite the president unconstitutionally sack you from the office of vice president. You decide to take the case to the ECOWAS court. Now, you go able for Giwi a status of whose side that case done they now at this point?
Well, the case, a Sierra Leone case, not so for me alone, because when the people of Sierra Leone be given the mandate for govern from 2007 to 2012, I further go on for giving another mandate 2012 to 2017. Well, with that, President Nkrumah violates the mandate of the people in Guinea of Sierra Leone by removing the vice president who they vote for, when Sam Sumana. But not to me alone, but now the people of Sierra Leone, then right President Nkrumah violates by acting otherwise against Article 5 of the Constitution, which is sovereignty belongs to the state. So by doing that, myself say, I know say the court of Sierra Leone, the Supreme Court, the rules say President Nkrumah not get right or do that, but according to their opinion, I made the rules the president get right. So by that, there's responsibility now for interpret the law, not to forgive their opinion.
Right.
So myself, since I will not take oath of office and I love my country, so I decide for go and the ECOWAS Court for seek redress and bring back justice to the people of Sierra Leone.
And so, you know, yes, go ahead.
At this point, wait, to the question, let's say background I give you. At this point now, the case in the ECOWAS Court will not make 2 appearances, and the first one, unfortunately, the Attorney General will be say it will protect Ernest Nkrumah, unlike the people of Sierra Leone. They say it will protect Ernest Nkrumah by air, land, and sea. Unfortunately, not show up. Instead, write a very vague letter. Talk say ECOWAS not get the mandate for looking into a case so the Supreme Court don't look. Forgetting the fact that me being pursued a human rights case at the ECOWAS Court, and that as Sierra Leone, signatory to the ECOWAS Treaty, where it observed economic and human rights issues recently during the tenure of Ernest Nkrumah. So because of that, when they not show up, now be an embarrassment to the nation as a whole. This is what is run a court, a shame for my country that an Attorney General can go so low. And I decided to say, well, this one I will do for bring back dignity to the people of Sierra Leone. And by the 22nd of this month, November, God will give verdict on the case.
Wow, the 22nd of this month. And you know, right, of course. So the 22nd of November passed. They not pass the verdict on the case, but the following week, now they pass verdict on this case. So they don't pass the verdict now. And so, you know, to me, if Nami been there in that same position, or you were the watch we right now, if you were in the same predicament where the vice president be in, you get for do the same thing where you do. I mean, we for even tell God thank you, because this thing we then do to this man, if he been get a large following, I don't see they start war in the country. Because now the second highest political position in the country. And the kind of way we then remove him, then kind of thing they ignite war in our country. But I would like to raise my heart to the elected vice president for the line of actions where it take. Enough fed to nobody, not cost nobody talk to him people and nobody not jump on the streets. I mean, after then demonstrations, the way people then do, peaceful demonstrations all over the world, right? He decide for follow the law, for use the law, for fight for justice. And instead don't talk saying a human rights case because of how they treat them. So this not to constitutional case, they not interfere into the domestic laws of the country. It was a human rights case, right? So me fam with them, we serve now Sheriff's Broadcast Network. When that issue be happen, we don't think about it so much for quite a long time. And we've been decided for come up with an analysis of the situation after talking to a lot of lawyers. And so let us see what we do, right? Stick around.
of Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone, it's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard that I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone, it goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone, West Africa, and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part, and I know history will judge all of us.
Of restoring the dignity of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, that the president was not correct to remove me from office. The fiscal issue is not paramount to me. I am very pleased with the judgment we received today.
Your news, information, and education exclusively. Of course, today we want to talk to you about something where we don't happen in the past, na Sierra Leone, but where we feel say very important going forward. Because if you don't know your past, you're not going to probably know how you go into your future. So now I make it very important that most of the things that way they happen at the country, Sierra Leone, we need for the reflect on some of those things whilst we move into our future. Of course, until we know say we na Sheriff's Broadcast Network, we na straight talk with the talk na we not be a nobody, we not support nobody, we just the talk straight talk for about Sierra Leone. Talks the way we know say go able for help with people that in the country, the average Sierra Leonean, for able for understand waiting the things the way they happen at the country, and let able for make a young judgment whosoever a day. Let able for make a young judgment as to whether the right things they happen or the wrong things they happen at Sierra Leone. So, you know, today we want to talk to us small about a constitutional crisis will be take place in Sierra Leone. No, we'll not forget it too. Not if you say, oh, now this thing that you talk. No, we'll not forget it. We get for still talk about them. The constitutional crisis will be take place in Sierra Leone, where the president, His Excellency Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, began for unilaterally sack the elected vice president Alhaji Sam Sumana and replace him with Mr. Victor Bokari Fo. Now that situation they want to talk about again today, because until we know say we go into elections, and of course now some of the decisions where the electorate, that are the one that way they go vote, some of the decisions that they make. Now, in they make a Sierra Leone day in the predicament, Sierra Leone day in a situation we say a day right now. So today we want for revisit the whole thing that will be happen. Of course, we don't say the sacked elected vice president of the country, vice president of the country, but don't take in case to the ECOWAS court. And we don't say that case day the way they go there now, probably it go there in favor. But until we know say the highest court of Sierra Leone be ruled on that same case, and then talk say the elected vice president where the president been sacked for say it not been get right by that case, and that now the president been get right by that case day. So we not to lawyers, you know, but it not get for take a lawyer or a rocket scientist for make you go able for understand some of the basics things that were supposed to happen at the country. So even when you talk to the lawyers, then at the same thing that they talk. So we don't talk to plenty lawyers them. We don't talk to plenty legal minds within Sierra Leone and as outside of Sierra Leone. And so this now we own general conclusion based on all then consultations that we done. Or this now we own general, you know, summary or, you know, conclusions we don't make as far as that constitutional crisis is concerned, right? Okay, until we all know say the we may get for Yeri for say the APC bradem, they are back by the inside the APC, then are the leaders the inside APC, then get that together and then come out with a resolution for say they don't expel Alhaji Sam Sumana from the APC. right? Now, not just get that kind of information. So first of all, understand how APC as a political party in Sierra Leone, how then they function, right? You get to understand that first. First of all, inside the APC, the chairman of the APC as a political party automatically now the president of the country. So meaning that the president of the country, when His Excellency Dr. Ernest Bai Kroma, at the same time a chairman of the APC, right? And so the APC Agbagba they meet, and now when we talk about the Agbagba, the chairman of the party is included in this Agbagba thing, right? Because the chairman of the party, no major decision or the way the party go take, where they not go include and where they not go involve and where they not go consult and where in fact if it not sign them, it not go become binding on the APC as a political party. So the president not go tell we say that decision where the brother inside the APC where they take for say they don't sack Alhaji Sam Sumana for say it not be no. Of course it be no. Now I give it okay. So this whole thing, the way we look at it, I think we be organized, right? Okay, so let us assume say they don't expel the man from the party. This not their own party, this not their own rules, that's so then they run things. They don't expel the man from the party. And of course, every political party get right for expel certain members them if they're not the work in the best interest of their party. Right? And so waiting at the reasons then we then give as to why they expel Sam Sumana from the APC. Number one, they said because the man be don't lie for say he get a master's degree, and of course he not get no master's degree. You know, me don't know who side and go do the verification, but time and again Alhaji Sam Sumana and journalists them don't prove for say one, he not ever talk that kind of talk today, and two, they don't go check na university where go na Minnesota na United States and not ever get anything when a master's and not talk that. But that's not be one of the reasons where the APC then give as a reason why they expel him from the party, because they say a lie. And number two, they say the man lies say in a Muslim when in fact in not a Muslim. Right? They say in a Muslim and in not a Muslim. So because of that, then second also because they say the man they lie. They use a pretense of the religion for making go attain a political position inside the party. So they say the man lie about that. Well, for let you become a Muslim, now one great thing you get for just talk. And this na Ramadan month where they talk this talk here. Now the kalma to shahadat. Now you get for just say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Now that's you get for do that there is no other God but Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam na a messenger. That's all you have to say for you to become a Muslim. So I don't know which other verification where the APC they be get, where they be one for Alhaji Sam Sumana proof for say in a Muslim. Of course we know say in Islam a Muslim name na Abu Bakr, we know that as well. But anyway, now that's the biggie. And then waiting up be the third reason. The third reason they say the man they foment violence na in hometown na Kono. They say they organize them, use them for make them involved into violence. Where that one they say will not be able for verify them, because we talk to Alhaji Sam Sumana right here on Sheriff's Broadcast Network, and it will say in a very peaceful person, in a person where you know they even talk about how it go on for ignite violence na in your area who say come away in people that want peace for in people there. So it denies say not to hinder them. And up to today we're not able to get any verifiable evidence where they prove for say this might be the organized crime and other things them na in na kono who say a born. We're not able to forget that. And then, what was the other reason? The other reason we then give was that this Maya so don't they try for form in your political party. Now, the Political Parties Registration Commission, when at the PPRC, able for come and tell the people of Sierra Leone for say, they not get any record where they show for say, Alhaji Sam Sumana or any other person, don't they try for form a new political party in the country. And so that one they said they're not able for verify them. But anyway, these are the four reasons then where the APC then give as to why they expel Alhaji Sam Sumana from the APC. So now, what can happen? The president now use that occasion, take take advantage of that moment for say, okay, now this man not belong to a political party, but then the Sierra Leone constitution don't talk say, in order for you to be a vice president of the country, you have to belong to a political party. Well, not so we constitution say exactly. We constitution say, in order for you to be elected, in order for me to elect you for be vice president or president of Sierra Leone, you get for first of all belong to a political party. But we constitution not ever talk is silent, is zip him out. We constitution zip him out about waiting you need for do to somebody where na already na vice president, but you want for pull an in position, waiting you go do. We constitution not talk about that. And not talk say when the post don't be vice president already is sit on a chair, then you for pull and come out as president, you for pull and come out because it no longer belong to a political party. The time to a day where it become the vice chair of the vice president of the country, he was a member of the All People's Congress. Now, whilst a day as the vice president of the country, then when I go pull and come out, you cannot use that as a reason for able for pull out inside the party. But now this the APC do. And so that's not a violation of the Constitution of Sierra Leone. And the other thing they we found that we need for know. We all them people here soon where they go campaign to now, especially the one that way they turn out for be president in Sierra Leone. You not go ever be president of Sierra Leone if you not get a running mate. Who that the running mate? The running mate na the person where they near the president. If like when I don't vote for anybody for be president of Sierra Leone, the person where they near him, in case the president die or is sick, we're not able for doing job again, or something happened to him, we're not able doing job again, that person then automatically become the president of the country. So now that make anybody who want to be president of a country, he not go ever turn up for that position. If you not choose somebody who go be near him, we go turn up near him, where the or two go foot to foot. So now make una the vote in a country, not only for the president, una the vote. Una the vote for the president and the vice president together on the same ticket. All right. We found the need for know this because it look like I say with people that don't understand these things. So that vote where we vote in 2012, not only for His Excellency Dr. Ernest Bai Kromah, we have been vote for. We have been vote for the or two in Alhaji Sam Sumana on the same ticket. So if now we don't vote for then two man and they, the only person will get the authority for pull and come out in that position now we vote for the or two. And how are they able for pull them? Only two ways they will not be able for them. One, either the whole country get a referendum for able for ask the people that will vote, the one that will vote for, ask them for say this my so now so thing it don't do, and me as president I want for pull am waiting when I say wanna be vote for and I wanna go back we can't talk say okay this my so let we try for pull am or let we maintain and or if we not do and through that method the other method we do am na through parliament. It gets people that we don't elect from all them constituencies them together with the paramount chiefs. They all where they represent some of them chiefdoms then where they are every district. They all then a parliament. Now then what they call lawmakers. Now then they make law. Now then they make things happen. Now they represent to all any decision where they take in a country. The decision they become binding on the country. And so if the president feel say the vice president of the country don't do anything where they warrant for level able for pull am that not supposed to be vice president of the country anymore, the way for do am na for go na that parliament and present am to parliament debate on them, then vote on them, waiting ever na the outcome of that voting now for binding on the country. So that way nobody no go complain for say oh now this man in one grade na go pull this now this now do that one day. No. But the president not do that one day. So me family them, is it wrong for let we tell the president say he do wrong? No, it's not. Okay, so now what can happen? Let we turn on to the Supreme Court of the country. And so we don't tell you say we're not to lawyers then. We not straight talk with the talk now because we know there be nobody. But then what can happen when a president don't take a decision like that? The next place who said and it can go now the Supreme Court when at the highest court of the land. The highest court of the land. And when they say Supreme Court not supposed to be biased at all. They're supposed to be straight. They're supposed to be honest. They're supposed to be neutral. They're not for there be nobody. But unfortunately, not to so it happen in Sierra Leone. And you know why it not happen so in Sierra Leone? Because of one reason. Make I tell una family the way una no know today. Now because of how we are Constitution Day. That constitution, I make it very important whether they do that constitutional review today. It go been fine for there. Some people that take a look at that constitution, may they really try for suggest some of these things, like how some of we do. What it be said, they not even pay attention to some of the suggestions they will make. With constitution, don't give so much power to the president of the country. Now, in they appoint people them for them at the Supreme Court as judges. When in hearts come, in they sack them come out, right? They change them with other judges them. If you feel just like how you feel, if you feel for them at any time, you go do that one day. Now, when you talk about the Supreme Court, the decision where the Supreme Court they take, no other person not go ever take that decision past God Almighty. From God Almighty, now the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court even powerful past the president itself. Right? But on the other way around, they make that the president now in they choose whether for then at the Supreme Court and now in they choose back whether for commodity. Right? So if you're not a judge now the Supreme Court, this is not the only work. You don't go school, you don't go learn, and everything that they the work. You know, say the president get right for sack you, the president get right for fire you. There is sensitive case like this don't can we don't split between the vice president and the president, and you then at the court now. You know, say now you job they in jeopardy, right? What you get for you not go ever rule fairly on that case. You always get for the on the side of the president because now you boss, now go fire you, now go pull you come out, now go allow you for sit down back in that place. You not go ever do your work right, okay? But like places like United States, places like Usaude, where the president don't appoint or nominate the Supreme Court judge. Gonna the House and the Senate they approve them na lifetime. It get for day until he die come out or until he say he don't retire, he don't want again. So when person like that one they sit down at that kind very important bench day, he not get for worry about his job. So again for anything where day before any case where day before wait for rule on them, they rule on them fairly without paying attention to anything for say, oh, I know I lost my job, oh, sometimes I go make the president go vex, oh, sometimes the president go pull me. No, in the United States Supreme Court and other advanced democracies, this is what they do. But Sierra Leone, unfortunately, we cannot do it that way. So for let the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone, the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone talk say Alhaji Sam Sumana been wrong for that case the way the president sack him. Now being unfair decision that one day. We all know the reason why the Supreme Court passed the judgment that way. Then say from that day they would then pass that judgment and they don't get mind what kind of street and face salon people there for to watch them at the eye and tell them that talk will be talking the truth. They don't get mind because they know say that lie and lie. They know say they don't do unfairly. Now when we get a country where they do things like this, these are some of the things that way they hold Sierra Leone back. These are some of the things that way they hold the country back. Because I don't see some other APC propaganda machines that normally get come up for justify the fact say, oh, what is Sam Sumana been doing, you know, wrong. This no. First of all, the president not get any right for let in one grain appoint one person say, you now you me vice president. If that one day be possible, wait till make will be vote for the all two. Wait till make the constitution talk say before you run as president of a country, you get for always nominate or appoint somebody where you are into for them on the ticket, so the people then go vote for una or two together. The constitution not ever talk say the president you for can appoint somebody for day by you for be you vice. No, but when the president appointed unilaterally by himself, he not consult parliament, he not consult nobody else, he just grab a appoint Victor Bokrifo, he say Nina in vice president, it goes through na State House, bam. Now they feel say that decision is binding on Sierra Leoneans as a whole. So Salon people them, what would they talk say? We country they bien, we country not they go before. These are some of the things where they hold we country back. Political manipulations, election malpractices, things that where they hold we country back. These are some of the things there. So we be just one for clarify some of them here so to now for let una understand for say we know they support Alhaji Sam Sumana. If they get any allegation against them, we know they support her. As long as those allegations are verifiable, are justifiable, we know they support Alhaji Sam Sumana at all, because we know the tina bien kalo, we know the tina bien, you know, any crook business. No. But the thing is, any president where he said today, which guarantee will get for say the next president, the next person will get for be president as Sierra Leone, he not go do the same thing where Ernest Bai Koroma don't do and make a reference to what Ernest Bai Koroma do or not do nothing. Now the same thing get for Apple. So Sierra Leone get for continue with this pattern till go, right? And so when people they talk say, oh, Alhaji Sam Sumana don't go charge $210 million for say if you win that case, now they forgive him. Of course, the man get right for do that. You know which kind of damage that one day where you damage the man, then molest the man, then disgrace the man, then make the man look like the worst person. You don't do those things. So psychological damage, physical damage, all them damage the way they don't damage the man. Me no say that man that 210 million we don't ask for. It not really mean them. Now things they wouldn't get for negotiate. Now things they wouldn't get for talk about. But this whole thing is not about money. This whole thing is about precedent. Positive precedents where they set in the country so that the next person where they come from behind not go ever mistake for violate with constitution the way them violate this wire. This now straight talk, right? And so my family will be just one for bring come this to when I become this to when I because we don't yes. Of course, okay. So my family now that's not been with opinion at Sheriff's Broadcast Network at the time where you know this whole thing happened. We give them a second thought. You know, we decide say you know what we get for profile, we own views on these issues, these things where they happen at the country. You know. And that's what we've been doing. And I don't think say the ruling of the ECOWAS Community Court is far from waiting to be we own analysis of the entire situation. I mean, this whole thing have been just, I think, say a very personal business between the president and the vice president, right? And then forget the fact, say, especially the president, forget the fact, say, he is the leader of the country. And that if you allow pettiness for overshadow your ability to judge well, you they make a lot of mistakes, and people in the process, people that will suffer. So now that one they happen, and so you know would they try for think about this issue as to why the Sierra Leonean government go even refuse for accept the judgment of the ECOWAS court. Number one, the ECOWAS court the judge on Sam Sumana issue on humanitarian grounds, and secondly, since 1975. Sierra Leone as a country is a signatory to the ECOWAS Treaty. And the ECOWAS community now established the ECOWAS Court. And this same court will only pass judgments on other cases involving Sierra Leone. And the Sierra Leonean governments have been accepting those decisions and they have been complying with the court. Now, what's different from this one? Especially when I can understand during the time we President Yahya Jammeh refused for accept the election results now in country, you know, for we them bitter not believe. The ECOWAS community now then come together, then appoint some of the presidents and past presidents for make them mediate a peaceful transfer of power to Adama Barrow will be win. And President Ernest Bai Koroma, as one of the seen at the big screen, he was part of that that delegation. He was part of that committee for bring about peace. I mean, a peaceful transfer of power in the Gambia. So if you were part of that, what did happen now? We make you not go accept this. So in essence, what me they see out of this is that okay, if ECOWAS they do anything, we not they affect we not we get involved in them. Of course, we they participate. But if not anything we get for do with we know they participate. That is my own understanding of the entire issue, right? That's my own understanding. I mean, that's what I get out of this, because there was a time when as Sierra Leone they actively participate in ECOWAS business, you know, under the APC government, and then now suddenly the ECOWAS court don't rule on this case on humanitarian grounds, and everybody will be done to talk this. We have been talking about constitutional crises and humanitarian grounds, you know, because do unto others what you expect others to do unto you. President Koroma, the way me don't sabi you now. I be feel say you not possible quiet or docile, but you not possible you get some cynical ways the way you can move or make things. If not been you, Alhaji Sam Sumana do this kind of thing to you. In fact, you for don't start war self, the way I do to you. You for don't ignite war in the country. So we get forget this thing what called empathy. You get for think about somebody as if now you. If now maybe they not this mind position, how for don't they feel? Right? And especially two of you guys were supposed to be setting the president. Now make, in fact, God help we in, to every advantage there is a disadvantage. If we been get televisions in the country, we say we pick it all they go school, that they get access to television, that they watch waiting they happen. The people that were in position of leadership, president, vice president, and all the other leaders, you guys are supposed to be setting very good examples where we picking it for emulate. So tomorrow picking go tonight say, me, I want to be president. But right now, you go to Sierra Leone, you ask some Pekin and say, you want to be president? Some Pekin, plenty of Pekin go talk, say, no, I don't want to be president. Because of waiting, they don't get accustomed to. Waiting and they see what they do. Right? And so, on all of these issues, we've been decided for talk to, a lawyer. We talked to Kevin Metzger, Esquire, a lawyer based in the United Kingdom. For Mexico, enlighten we small on these issues, and for Mexico tell we exactly waiting now the legalities that around this whole activities, the ECOWAS Court, Sam Sumana, the Attorney General, Minister of Justice, and so they bring that interview to you right about this time for let you go see. Right, stick around.
Right now, this is Shell New Road on our way to Kenema, just to see how things roll out here. There's too much of blowing horns around here. Everybody is busy doing that. There's a passenger coming out of the car. And of course, you can see me. Mother walking around here. This is Freetown. One more time and come back. I want to see him. See, I tell that I can ride this thing. Alright, so now that guys.
On the track.
So, gentlemen in the United States, this is the wonderful Bobby. Bobby, Baby Nyama, Felly, and all the other ones. So, within Agbamuta Street right now, Kenema Town. Bobby just happened for camera, and I happened for Siam. I said, well, Bobby, you know the go is here, it's nothing. So I did come with this video live to the US. Because we don't talk to 1.5 this ballet to the city. So this is Bobby. So Bobby, you get anything for training your video? Oh, no, nobody matter. Remember that why you do anybody who are back. So let's get on. Yeah, let me back and go before. Boy, you yeah, but man, I just must go up. Oh, so another area. So Bobby get for camp. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, definitely. On behalf of Mr. Philip Sombo, who was the elder of the clan during the days at Bunubu Teachers College when we were doing HT.
It was not polluted.
Through him, I was linked up to the terror organization here at Mohamed N'fa Alie at the Kenema Airfield.
The playing field.
As tapped by Sarah the Great. I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for this very wonderful gift. And this is the highest honor a man can get from his country when he visits. Because this clothes you see here is traditionally woven by hand by our own people here. So when they give it to you, it is the highest honor. There is no other honor that is greater than this. So I feel honored. Is that the back or the front?
Very well now. You have it. That's the right.
So my fellow Americans, how do you see this?
Cool.
So, if you were in Sierra Leone now, you would start calling me Chief.
Well, you are Chief.
Yes. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Welcome.
And because of that, if Sarah the Great is available, I want to put down another gallon of palm oil for him.
Wow, that's a nice one.
Thank you very much.
Nice one. It's a nice one.
I'm busy a community.
Yes, indeed, me family home sweet home, home sweet home. I don't say some man and they go buy tickets one time for me then go back na salon. So you see, now make way man they within a position of leadership, whether they form up our country, man, they had to like a craze. Because you see, what we can visit, then they all the mingle with the people that are at the grassroots level. You they enjoy your country, say you they enjoy, man. You know, I mean, can you imagine? I was right there in Kenema, I get fun. And then suddenly they say them man and they pan blunder at the top. No, man, I don't care what for you that. This country belongs to all of us. When I know for they make we all they suffer just because of una petty business, personal issues they go on among una, you know. But anyway, that was me in Kenema, you know, visits, you know, I mean, I get a blast now the country with everything where they go on. The Sierra Leonean people are so resilient, you know, they don't care what they go on, they're so sabi move on. So we get fun, you know, with the teachers them from all the top secondary schools, Kenema City. We gather together, you know, they have fun. Of course, then present stuff to me. So I want to say a lot of thanks to them. So now we get for go to Mr. Kevin Metzger, of course, an astounding lawyer. Of course, we get a lot of knowledge in ECOWAS treaties, of course, the ECOWAS Community Court, the ECOWAS community itself, and all of that. So we'll go to it right now, right? Of course, if you're not buying tickets here for Go Saruna for buying right now. Right now, I'm homesick again, all right? So my family, want to stick around. Of course, just like how we don't tell one. Of course, when I know in the past week, waiting beyond the happen na the West African sub-region, specifically talking about the elected vice president of Sierra Leone, where the president been sacked. Of course, we talk about Alhaji Abubakar Siddiqui Sam Sumana, where the president been sacked, and of course, the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone began for rule on in case in favor of the president. And so INSEF decides, say, on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone, again, for take that case they up na the ECOWAS court. So if you don't care, go that case na the ECOWAS court. And of course, this past week, within this week, the ECOWAS court don't rule on that case in favor of the vice president, saying that the president not being fair enough for for SACAM, and not being getting authority for SACAM. And so now that's now one of the main issues that will happen, in Sierra Leone and West Africa this week. So now in we can't talk about now. And so for talk about this issue, we get one of our brothers, where is Sierra Leonean based in the United Kingdom, precisely in London. Of course, we talk about Mr. Kevin Metzger. Now we're going to talk to today. We're a barrister at law, of course, based in the UK. Hello, Mr. Metzger. How you do, sir?
Hello, Mr. Sheriff. I'm very good, thank you.
That's good. Welcome to Sheriff's Broadcast Network. Of course, we know say you're not personally very, very busy. In fact, you're there about for travel, but you don't spare your time for can't talk to we, on this very important issue. And so we don't want for waste time. We want for go straight to the issue. We want for start for talk about the ECOWAS court itself. By your own knowledge, waiting na the when they form this court, and waiting at the reasons we make them form the the ECOWAS court.
Well, really, they form ECOWAS court after the Embassy Protocol in 1991 for say they want a court, particularly for deal with things then like human rights. Right. The ECOWAS Treaty itself, na 1975, June 1975, 9 days sign. That day, na Shaka Stevens, Dr. Shaka Stevens, na be president. Well, going on from there, from 1975 to 1991, then they developed this economic community of West African states. And 91, they decide that now they will get the what they call a community court of justice for deal with any issue that day. And after that, several protocols them in there. One way been there in 1993. When at the time we head of state, His Excellency Captain Valentine Strasser, we signed that one day on the 24th of July of 1993, and then another one we followed that day in 1995, I believe, when the then Vice President Solomon Bay was signed. It get plenty in the BN. Sorry, I did talk long because 10 plenty in the BN.
Yes, go ahead.
The whole issue of the ECOWAS court, because the whole idea now for bring equality and interdependence between the states them for able to make the region develop more quickly than if all man try for develop not only the country or the big country. So that way they try for make things equal and for make peaceful settlement among issues them, because all man don't come inside the one club, so to speak, the one gonna compete.
Right.
If I can put that away.
Okay, yes, that's good. Yeah, so so when they form this ECOWAS, I mean the ECOWAS court will come together. In a recent argument where the government of Sierra Leone they put forward is that the ECOWAS court in ruling no supersede the ruling of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone. And being that Sierra Leone is a signatory to that treaty, we establish the court and everything what they do inside the court. What thing you go say about that stance of government for say the ECOWAS ruling not go supersede the ruling of the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone?
Well, now political stance with all there about what they call sovereignty. This not the country, so nobody in law no go pass me law. But really, the way how you explain and how media then they talk on social media, see people and they say Salon government say ECOWAS court cannot supersede the natural law. The reality is slightly different, because what in the ECOWAS court do, then take 10. If you read the whole of the judgment of the Sam Sumana case, then take 10 for say we know want for good enough by anybody in tow. We know want for say Supreme Court judgment and right to the wrong go now in the Supreme Court. But we there for deal with human rights issue, and we don't give the government of Salon the opportunity for let them can talk. So the issue where the court, ECOWAS court decide on now human rights issue where relates to what he make the sack Sam Sumana if the 10 way president reliever of his duties, whether it be right for do so. And that court they come to the conclusion say not be right.
Right. And so, you know, because very good the way you don't explain that, because even the government, way then they react to the ruling way the ECOWAS court make, they don't specify them that way they foresee that on human rights grounds. Then just say, you know, the government reject the government reject the ruling by the ECOWAS court based on the grounds that the court in ruling not go able for supersede the rulings of the Supreme Court in Sierra Leone, you know. And so we be want to know if you know, the ECOWAS community, you know, the 16 countries that we belong to the ECOWAS community, is it compulsory for them to sign this treaty we establish that court?
Well, if you don't agree with something, you don't go sign, not so.
Right.
It's just like if you go join, let's say you go join whether a football club or golf club, where you go, you meet them, get the rules. Where you meet the rules there, if you agree with them, you join. You don't agree with them, you commodity.
Right.
If inside the time when they use a dinner committee, you know, and decide something, you know, go discuss. Who discuss done, where all man satisfied, then sign.
Right.
So technically speaking, in international law, and especially within protocol, then the treaty there and the protocol where they talk, all the countries then get right for say then they sign, and then get right for say they not they sign, and then get right for implement them na the country where they go back. And all the relevant document them, from where me don't see you, I don't see anyone who tell me say Salon no sign it.
Right. And so being that Sierra Leone signed this treaty, the last time we didn't sign them, and I've been by the former Vice President Solomon Berewa in 2005. You know, we didn't sign them, waiting now been the next things then way the government of Sierra Leone be supposed to do. Were they supposed to interpret or incorporate this treaty into the Sierra Leonean law? And, you know, what thing they be supposed to do next after the signing?
Well, technically, yes, they're supposed to incorporate it into Sierra Leone. But Article 11 of that particular protocol there deal with the issue about how for look the protocol and the thing that we didn't sign. And let me read Article 11, paragraphs 1 and 2.
Right.
It will be in English, that will explain afterwards.
Okay.
Paragraph 1. This supplementary protocol shall enter into force provisionally upon signature by heads of state and government. Accordingly, signatory member states and ECOWAS hereby undertake to start implementing all provisions of this supplementary protocol. So what Inandi says, for now, all my we sign this, then they talk say this now, we don't agree say, so we don't agree to one.
Okay.
And we will do everything we able for implement them inside the country. And ECOWAS self will do everything we do for make sure say this implementation take place.
Right.
That's number 1. Paragraph number 2. This supplementary protocol shall definitively enter into force upon ratification by at least 9 signatory states, in accordance with the constitutional procedures of each member state. So, the point being, inside paragraph 2,
right, that
it talks say if Palais 16 and 8, all man no sign, any 9 we sign, it give that protocol a force inside ECOWAS. We give ECOWAS the right for follow what he say inside what in on talk inside their agreements and
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is very, very interesting. You know, and so being that the government, so basically what you talk is because we sign the agreement, it was left to us to either implement it or incorporate it into the Sierra Leonean law or not.
Yes.
And so whether we implement it into or incorporate it into the Sierra Leonean law or not, the ECOWAS court they go ahead for do their job already.
Well, now that's paragraph 2 say, then get right for go ahead if we not implement it. Once 9 of the 16 we sign, ratify them, that is to say they don't implement it inside the national law.
Right.
And in addition to that, you know, the court can they sit down, it can they case them. So in 2015, one case they were named Williams against Liberia, or Liberia and Ghana. Two Williams then take Liberia and Ghana, and other people then go court.
Right.
But for court that case they short, just explain what in and say. The court say then get right inside the European Court of Justice, beg your pardon, the ECOWAS court. Then get right for court case. Even if the country where they say, where come before the court say, well, I'm not be implemented under national law. And the reason why they get that right then are because of that paragraph 11, article 11, paragraph 1 and 2, where I've been on read to in Anaya.
Okay.
So inside that case, they say, well, even though in that particular case, the country where the carried court not been signed been signed but they not put her inside their own country their law. It's still bound by the provision there once they don't sign, because at least 9 member states they don't sign. And if you not sign, I no matter, ECOWAS get the right for the return, and that's so the court find that particular case. And in 2015, 9 they decide that case.
And so, in your own estimation, waiting will probably be the reason why the Attorney General and Minister of Justice go to try for reject to the ruling of the ECOWAS court?
Well, the job of Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and like effectively 2 sides to a coin, if you put an away
right.
One a politician and one a lawyer. The lawyer might agree with what in ECOWAS talk, but the politician go to the political line. So if the political line say president do something and they don't go to Supreme Court get right, you know, we expect the politician side for talk say, well, we agree with the judgment.
Right. Well, as a layman, as an ordinary man, we're not a lawyer. Media assume say na the politician side of the Attorney General na be the talk. And you know, so by your own estimation, you think say the government of Sierra Leone, whether or not the previous government now, not this government, they're not be able for domesticate this ECOWAS court treaty into incorporate into the Sierra Leonean law?
Well, I should say they be able for, and to I cannot tell you whether they incorporate or not. I assume from some of the clips that were here from we Attorney General say they're not been done incorporator, and therefore the stance we they take as Attorney General is that the country not bound by the judgment of the ECOWAS court. That means to say the country not get for follow what the court say because they're not been on pass inside with law.
So meaning that anybody can go sign any treaty, and they respect the time frame where they don't give you for incorporating into your own local laws, and you can still talk say no, me not agree on the ruling because I not be done incorporator. You know, is that something that countries can do, or the international law at this point go supersede that kind of judgment?
Well, I think say if you talk to the common man of the streets, let me say somebody go in a bank and get a microcredit. Where they sign for that microcredit, they say, well, go now also they go open bank account or they go find box where they put the money that they pay every month. Where you gonna also not do that? When they come for judging case Bambai, then tell them say, that money will be you not pay you. He said, well, I don't agree with what you have been signed because I not be open bank account or not open the box. In a way, a self-defeating argument. Why you go get international organization where you go make treaty and you go sign things then where you say now for the betterment of a whole community, then you come, you know, right inside your law. it tend for suggest say, you know, either you don't agree with what thing that they do, and you just be the follow normal thing and talk, or you get a different agenda.
Right. And so, well, yeah, definitely, it will look like say you got different agenda. So, Mr. Metzger, the argument where probably the Attorney General, speaking for him now, will probably want for put up with regards to the ECOWAS court ruling is that VP Sam Sumana, in case not to be be a constitutional case, not to be a human rights case. And so therefore, if the ECOWAS court the rule on a human rights basis, then therefore, you know, that they're not going to accept them because now be a constitutional case. What do you say to that?
Well, I think anybody with a drive Okada no say not to just petrol they put inside. Sometimes you have to put oil there back. That means to say if you not get oil, that petrol no more therefore na petrol no more go take run. These are symbiotic things. These are two things that work together: human rights, constitutional law. The government of Salone go to the Supreme Court on a or rather, His Excellency the Vice President went to the Supreme Court on a constitutional issue because in case we put before the Supreme Court say President not get right for Sakan because the Constitution not say so. What the ECOWAS court say for make the judgment simple? They say on a human rights point, Chief Sam Sumana will get right for the Vice President and for involved in a political party, namely the APC party. So the thing when they take Sakan, they say when he been the APC, you know, whatever happened, APC decide for pulling party membership for expel him from the party. According to the APC constitution, he get right for appeal. That appeal, the term for the appeal not be done, they don't get a sack. Apparently, the same day where he right for appeal against the decisions, say popular na the party, na sack. So the time not be no expire. So it make things very, very simple for the ECOWAS court because if somebody get right for be president and he did as a member of the party, the fact that they sack him, that sacking not they take a final. That means to say the in that particular case the NDC the APC then senior body where they deal with all appeals before don't confirm the expulsion for the party from the party before any right come for Saka. So what think ECOWAS court do? They not go inside the Salon judgment then just say, well, because of that, the case is very, very clear. They not not be get right for Saka because the tenant be not reach it for Saka. Right.
Wow. And so immediately we you know, the ECOWAS court rule on the case. One of the lawyers for Alhaji Sam Sumana, began for talk say, then go do everything legally and politically for make sure say waiting the court don't say, then go implement them fully in Sierra Leone. Waiting are your understanding of that?
Well, I think say just the try for talk say the courts don't give them rights. Then therefore go to Salone and ask Salone for uphold the judgment of the court. If Salone no want for to uphold the judgment of the court, then really now political and negotiation now will take place because for present purposes, I don't think say any situation will arise other than of recent memory, some Gambe problem we don't see, where ECOWAS get involved in the internal affairs of a country, whether they accept the judgment or not. Although the judgment is supposed to be binding.
Right. And so talking about the Gambia, President Anesbai Kroma, when that issue happened in the Gambia, wherein the president, a former president, Yahya Jammeh Bingheffo refused to accept the election results. President Anes Kroma have been one of the presidents then and former presidents in West Africa where they've been choose for mediate a peaceful transfer of power in that country there. And we see actively they participate, you know. Waiting could be your understanding that at this point in time, Anesbai Kroma not going for respect the judgment of a court that is established under the ECOWAS.
Well, Dandy, a very difficult question because I think it's a personal and probably political thing.
Right.
Certainly, if a political leader like our president, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, involved with ECOWAS procedure for go to Gambia and talk to former President Yahya Jammeh, who at that stage had lost an election, and ask them for give the people then a mandate in country with the backing of ECOWAS or ECOMOG, if you want to put another way. Well, that means to say a person will respect the rule of law as far as ECOWAS is concerned. And that's any layman will look and think.
Right.
And if you don't do that, you go expect, say, if the ECOWAS courts give judgment, you don't go just don't say, well, these ones are not leckable, so I put them aside.
Right. And so, you know, that means just like how you don't talk, the understanding is that if President Koroma been careful participate in the whole political process in the Gambia, that means he respect ECOWAS as a community, he respect the treaties, and he respect everything way the ECOWAS community they try for do. But then it is paradoxical at this point also for CNC, in your Attorney General, Minister of Justice, go reject a ruling of the court established by the same body where they try for promote. Right?
Well, I think it looked funny small.
Yes, exactly. And so, how about what we go talk about some other cases then where, you know, where Sierra Leoneans that be done the care go na the ECOWAS court. You know, the case of Wanza, I think
Mohamed Wanza.
Right. Then cases then they, I think say Sierra Leonean government being get for accept, say they're supposed to compensate them people and they. And so, under which law, probably by your own understanding, way therefore not able to accept, say, okay, this ruling by the ECOWAS court we accept and therefore we will compensate these people.
Well, and by the same law, where they're supposed to look at this case and decide, say, then go accept the judgment of the ECOWAS court, because between the, I think Wanza case. Yes, even all the two cases we talk, and the other one was a policeman, Mohamed N'fa where he go again because he said in Saka they know me for Sakam. All these things, the same protocol, the same law, the same agreement, in place. And if one look at from that perspective, or from that angle, they say, well, they may not agree on that end. You will look doubt why they would change their mind if nothing not change.
Right, right. At this particular time, if nothing not change, why then for change their mind? I stand for, you know, agree with you on that. And so, Vice President Sam Sumana, they don't rule the case. On the case now, ECOWAS now. He's one of the presidential candidates inside Sierra Leone for the upcoming elections, and so. By the ruling of the ECOWAS court, he is to be reinstated back into his position. And then we don't see changes in the security apparatus in the country. Leadership in the country. What do you think, Sega? How this go happen?
Well, first of all, the ECOWAS court very, very carefully ruled in this case. What they not do is, whilst they get right on the basis where they say President of Osaka, they not explicitly state inside the judgment say salon for reinstatement. What they say salon for pay for the 10 way you don't from the 10 way they Osaka, till the 10 way is supposed for left office, so where the government end. In other words, if the rights nominee for Sakam in right for the vice president, they take go. But they may ask them, a lawyer they may ask the court for also let them consider whether let them consider the case about Victor Fo, the president is appointed nominee as vice president who was in due course selected, and there was an order sought that he should vacate the post of vice president, which the ECOWAS court declined on the basis that they were concluded things and they were very careful about not wanting to upset the peace and stability of Salon. Okay. So that's not one thing. In relation to reshuffle of let's say leading military and police, sort of the security apparatus in the country, well, generally speaking, people can change security apparatus for a number of reasons. Presidents or president-elects or the governing party, because they are afraid of something happening, or because they want to prevent something happening, or because they want to enforce something. So in this situation now, we just see the nomination then and the request for approval. We therefore look and see what in are the reasons. Sometimes they may just want for promote some people then before the election, or sometimes also APC go come back in power next time.
Yes, it is. And so looking at this entire case now, the ECOWAS Court, Mr. Metzger, I try to understand waiting at really the crux of this matter. Waiting make way the government of Sierra Leone go come out boldly and talk say they don't accept, the ruling of the court. So I want to understand between the ECOWAS Court and the government of Sierra Leone, waiting probably go happen between these two. Are they communicating on this issue? Are they trying to? Do you have any idea what is going on between the two?
Well, I'm sure there will be discussions and negotiations behind the table, because, otherwise, Lebanon can end up with slack sit by. I mean, at the end of the day, if you join an organization like that, there will be times when they will say something where you go like, we not agree with or not go with you internal workings. But I think, say, if government and the legal people that way they look this case, go sit down, consider carefully, and look the judgment and read out from back to front, then go understand the care where these courts take for look the case and for give a judgment we not go directly affect the decision of the Supreme Court. So anybody we talk say ECOWAS rule against the Supreme Court, then they not sometimes then talk quick before they read the full judgment, because the ECOWAS Court make them very, very clear and completely different in them in the look. They not look constitutional issue. They make a point say we not interfere in the final court of the land in your constitutional decision. Whatever you may take from the judgment we then give, because sometimes we can say we lawyer how they write judgment. Now that thing is you're able to understand if the judge be open the eye where they tell us something with surprise. So some of the words the way they inside this judgment, you go get the feeling say them being surprised about the Supreme Court in judgment, but they're not comment button in an adverse way.
Right. Wow. And so we look at them again this way for say waiting ever the community courts don't talk for let the Sierra Leone government do by compensating Alhaji Sam Sumana or plenty other people, media houses like even the BBC, then we say the man should be reinstated. Now, if the Sierra Leone government reject all of that and they not do them, if we say that go undermine the legality and credibility of the ECOWAS court?
Well, VP Sam Sumana one country in a 16 country where they in West Africa. And I think say we are very proud people, Sierra Leoneans, we like we respect. And I think say anybody will go reflect and think about this, then go find a way for make a solution, make we no less lost respect. Because all the other countries then look we say, hey, because this thing also then will against another canal, so now they make. How can that work for the cohesion, of a regional union if you just don't accept certain things?
Right.
It don't work.
Right. And so after the ruling, the vice president himself issued a statement say the ruling, the fight will fight in case now the ECOWAS court, not to be in one in fact, now be a fight for the people of Sierra Leone, now been a fight for the people of West Africa and Africa as a whole. Now, do you agree with him?
Yes, I do agree with him. Because, as I say, if you look the ruling of the court, the way we then deal with the issue from a human rights perspective. Now for make the courts look at how people then they do their work, how people then they run their party, how people then they run people their ability for involved politics. You see, and one of the major problems I think for many of we lawyers that we've been somewhat surprised at the starkness of the opinion of the Supreme Court in the original case. Is that you know, for talk say, if you don't elect your president and vice president in running mate, when are members of party, for some strange reason, somebody can be powerful in that party. They then manage to maneuver the expulsion of either of them to the day. Once they're not be president, then one term done nearly done. They not do one term, the second term they not done it. Then you go get a very strange situation in the country where party them go able for remove presidents them outside the will of the people. Because not only the party they vote for, now the party then put them forward, but now the votes of the people of the country now puts them inside their position. So when they vote for the president and in running mate in 2007 and in 2012, the people then vote for President Kuruma and Vice President Sam Sumana. So the people then get a right for get the person who they vote for remain in unless you know comply with things that were they inside the constitution. So what in the Supreme Court rule extend what in we lawyer then see inside the constitution, where reason there or where you go pull a sitting president or vice president because they don't behave themselves. So now it give authority for say if they pull you in a party, you can come out. Now the ECOWAS judgment not touch down and what he says when they say they sack you in a party, you get for exhaust all your rights them before you go able for say yes, this person not in a party. So you see the difference.
Right. They're not going to just sack you today. They're not going to just sack you today and then tomorrow the president say, okay, because they don't sack you, so now you are no longer supposed to be vice president of the country.
You don't get qualification you for come out. Yes.
Right.
Because you still a member, even if somebody expel you, once you get the right of appeal. So now the crux, the foundation of this judgment, where they don't pull you in a position, let me say, as a political party, but you get a right of appeal. Until you exhaust that right of appeal, the final body inside your political party don't say, now, this one also is final, NEF court, you know they inside this party. Now that 10 day, the situation we come before Supreme Court supposed for me.
Right.
So they cut inside, if you like, they cut inside before Supreme Court reach.
Well, guess what? So, you know, if you say it been right for let the Supreme Court say able for advise the party for say this might not exhaust all of in rights they hate under this expulsion, and so therefore when I go back, let it take care of that after that when I brand come. You think say the court been get right for do stuff like that?
Well, any court get right for do what he want for do, but the first thing we will get for member, and we'll get respect for we own courts, we own people them. We cannot say. His Excellency Alaji Chief Sam Sumana get respect for court and make it do what he do so. And the case we then put before the court and will be questioned when they ask the court. Nine them fit answer. So some courts then they way, although you ask the one question, then go answer that question by saying, but you've been for don't wait for this. Now that's what Supreme Court not do. It not touch that question of the money right or not. The only thing with the Supreme Court do it decide on the powers of the president, the extraordinary powers of the president, where they interpret the term within the Constitution, Supreme Executive Authority for me. That means to say, if you want sack vice president, you can sack vice president. That's the crux of the Supreme Court ruling. But you know, consider the question of whether or not he can sack the vice president because the man not a member of the party when the situation not resolved yet. Because then we'll say they'll not be asking that question.
Right. And so, Mr. Metzger, now that you are here, matter of fact, let me ask that question about the supreme authority of the president. You feel say the interpretation of that supreme authority where they inside the constitution, the government of Sierra Leone be doing right for, you know, where the president be feel say get the powers by inside for like sack the vice president. Is that the interpretation of that supreme authority in the constitution of Sierra Leone?
Well, the Supreme Court of Sierra Leone has given a ruling on this matter, and we as lawyers will therefore respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. I remember being interviewed sometime on Star TV where somebody asked me a similar question. According to we lawyers, we cannot say the Supreme Court has given a bad decision. They're the highest court in the land. But there are those who will want to challenge that. The only court will be able to challenge the Supreme Court inside Salon and Supreme Court back. I would like to see a different case come before the Supreme Court where they argue and well. Let us see if they will come to that same conclusion in the future. Because I think saying a kind of a very difficult position for both for the president and for the Supreme Court, and of course for the country, because at the end of the day, the burden of the president invoked is heavy. And all man when they look down there from the Supreme Court perspective, then they careful look say we got for support the president. No problem, no can be bambai. So words are capable of interpretation, which depending on a particular situation, a particularly constituted court, then one day we dey inside the particular panel can decide today say, now so we dey interpret this, and now so that court they decide. But maybe tomorrow, if a similar case go before them, they're not going to decide that the same way.
Wow, that is so difficult. And so looking at it from that perspective, let's say the Sierra Leonean constitution is a little similar to, or it was written based on the American type of constitution, wherein, like what we talk about, the Supreme Court judges, they are nominated by the president, approved by the parliament, and but the difference between the Sierra Leonean one and, you know, the American one is that in the American system, when the president don't nominate Supreme Court judges approved by the Congress and the Senate, they are in the Supreme Court bench for life. Nobody knows change it again until they die or retire. In Sierra Leone, the president gets rights for remove them, either for suspend them, sack them, and replace them. So people that they feel say the Supreme Court in Sierra Leone, people that know they operate with freedom, then they fear for them, for men they not lost their job, then they fear for less something not going to happen to their job, and so they are intimidated. And so some of the rulings that what they do based on that biasness. Is that how you look at it?
Well, I cannot lie. Until I look the provision where it relates to judges then. But something and if we look the situation, we can able for come to certain conclusion then. Who said last year you see them sack senior judge Necsl?
Well, we
most of the
say
people
they
that
suspend one Tijanko, right?
Well,
yeah, you know, where the president Ernest by Kroma been get for suspend them, and then somebody else can take over that bench day, you know.
Well, me, I don't know that story the inside out, but we constitution, in my view, allow we judges them for being independent. We problem the Necsl not just stem from, you know, the fact say president they appoint the judiciary. There are many who believe that there is this kind of control over the judiciary where they make them not independent, and whether that controlling are the amount of money, whether they pay them not enough, and not get sufficient facilities then, and all that kinds of things. But you know, really, we do need to have security of tenure for judges. If that doesn't exist already, we get to make sure it happen. We need to have judges properly selected and nominated through a body that looks at people who can be potentially good judges then, and maybe take away a little bit of the kind of political angle about appointing people then, you know, because we judges, especially the judges, then weighed in at the highest court of the land, then they give respect all over the world. we then do the right thing. And if they do something where people they not perceive as right, and not they do we justice outside the world, because people then they look say, well, what's in them people else they after?
Right.
So I mean, I think say we judges then no say then a beacon for we country. All man they look them and the decision where they make. They no say then important also even down to investor them for attract people and for can invest in our country. The need for no say if the case go court, then get right, then we'll give them the right day. It not will be something we will be decided by political or who you know or who that get interest for now.
And so so finally, the ECOWAS cordon rule on Sam Sumana in case now. As a lawyer, do you agree with the ECOWAS ruling or you stand with the government?
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't read them. I think today no more I don't read that to just for make sure say I understand what he say and the clarity of the ruling. And I get for commend the judge then because they make it clear. I see decide whether the balance for political reasons. And any lawyer will read and go see decide whether the balance. But the side where they rule they make it crystal clear. Say this na so and so it be for B, it no B. And then they in one. The fact say they don't wait till the time expire. It don't do for less Sam Sumana winning case. So something that they will not even get for consider because if the man don't win the case, they don't win the case.
Right.
You know.
All right. And so me family this now Mr. Kevin Metzger, of course we talked to him today from London in the United Kingdom. I know he's a very busy man. He get for travel back to some place. And so, Mr. Metzger, we appreciate you for your time. Of course, we get for the need you as far as this issue concerned. Lady can let you talk about and lady help you for interpret some of these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for what you call me.
Right.
Because listen, people are not even realize that, but we like for talk about NT also. And it's more difficult for explaining simple one for make everybody understand. Lawyer to lawyer, if you put me and another lawyer today, so we'll talk to tomorrow morning. Who don't finish done. If we not confuse everybody, we'll at least confuse a few people.
Right.
But the important thing for me, now for try for explain let people understand what we they try for say about what on be very clearly, make no error, no mistake, nobody.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Right.
All right.
Court of Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone, it's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard that I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone, it goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone, West Africa and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part, and I know history will judge all of us.
Of restoring the dignity of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, that the president was not correct to remove me from office. The fiscal issue is not paramount to me. I am very pleased with the judgment we received today.
Yes, my family, and of course, that's not been lawyer Kevin Metzger, of course, in the United Kingdom, in GUI, an interpretation or explanation of waiting have been some of the most complicating aspects of the ruling, and of course, everything will transpire between the president and the vice president elected. Of course, not that we will forget from him. So one for tell him plenty. Thank you for in selflessness for explain. And so we'll get the ECOWAS treaty where when I the most important you know thing we need for talk about right now. Of course, my family. You know, the ECOWAS Court of Justice, the treaty, the last time we didn't sign them, now been on January 19, 2005, na Accra, Ghana, I didn't sign them. And of course, let me get His Excellency Solomon Ekuma Berewa as the Vice President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Now, him being last signed that treaty. So, meaning that, you know, Sierra Leone is still part of the ECOWAS treaty. Of course, everything where ECOWAS they try for do, we're not go able for dissociate ourselves from them. And so, very, very important that we able for agree to that, right? And of course, we also get Naya that after the Attorney General and Minister of Justice don't reject the ruling of the ECOWAS court, the lawyers them for Alhaji Samuel Sam Sumana then send a rejoinder, and that rejoinder is then say rejoinder to the official reaction of the government of Sierra Leone to ECOWAS court judgment in Samuel Sam Sumana versus Republic of Sierra Leone. And this na Femi Falana San and Dr. Raymond Atuguba, lawyers for His Excellency Samuel Sam Sumana. And then writes this. Then say, our attention has been drawn to the official reaction of the government of Sierra Leone to the judgment delivered by ECOWAS Community Court of Justice on Monday, November 27, 2017, in the case of His Excellency Mr. Samuel Sam Sumana versus Republic of Sierra Leone. In a statement issued on behalf of the government, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Mr. Joseph Kamara, claimed falsely that the government of Sierra Leone refused to participate in the proceedings and now therefore does not accept nor seek recognize the decision of the ECOWAS court in respect of the specific judgment. Contrary to the misleading statement of the Attorney General, the government of Sierra Leone actually participated in the proceedings. Thus, upon the service of the originating application of the government, the Attorney General filed a notice of preliminary objection at the registry of the ECOWAS court at Abuja. The objection, which was accompanied by a written address, was signed by the same Attorney General. It is important to note that the address filed by the Republic of Sierra Leone in some significant respect went beyond the preliminary objection to jurisdiction and responded to the substance of the case. Accordingly, on behalf of the plaintiff, we filed a reply to the said written submissions and preliminary objection. In the comprehensive judgment of the ECOWAS court, it was found that the preliminary objection was completely lacking in merit. Hence, it was dismissed. Thereafter, the ECOWAS court proceeded to consider the substantive case and declare the purported removal of the plaintiff as the Vice President of Sierra Leone illegal, null and void on the grounds that human rights of the plaintiff to fair hearing had been breached. Having participated in the case on behalf of the government, we are compelled to caution the Attorney General to desist from misleading the government and people of Sierra Leone with respect to the decision of the ECOWAS court. Even though the Attorney General has said that the government of Sierra Leone will not accept or recognize the judgment, he turned around to say that upon receipt and review of the said judgment, government will be advised accordingly on the appropriate action. Having ratified the ECOWAS revised treaty and the protocol establishing the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice, as well as the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the government of Sierra Leone has always ensured compliance with the decision of the court. We are confident that the government will be properly advised to obey the judgment just delivered by the ECOWAS court in the case of His Excellency Mr. Samuel Sam Sumana versus Republic of Sierra Leone. All right. So this now the letter this will come out from the lawyers then for Sam Sumana. So in essence, then the talk say Sam Sumana the government of Sierra Leone be actually participate in the proceedings, unlike waiting the Attorney General and Minister of Justice be done to say. So they actually participated. And if you participate either by writing or filing an objection to the case, and all of those are participation. And again, the ruling of this case is not predicated on domestic issues. It's predicated on human rights issues, the human rights violations of the vice president. So that then talk, right? And so, M'fa then we get for continue for come to you, of course, from our studios here. Of course, we get a few more time to go just to bring you the best of what we were able for bring come to you. Of course, today we don't hear plenty about this case here, so we just want for nail and done so that we're able for we're able for reach an agreement for say indeed there was some kind of misunderstanding as far as this issue is concerned. So next we get for talk about waiting the government do immediately where they don't pass this judgment. Waiting government do, we see a reshuffle in the security apparatus in the country, right? Well, we don't know if that reshuffle they get anything for do with the ECOWAS court decision or verdict wouldn't pass in the case. But we still say the government of Sierra Leone don't change top members, the military, the police force, and of course the national security. So we get Nayawusai. Well, let me see if I'll be able to get that out of instead of. Let me just see if I can pull it up, because I want for, I know say plenty of we don't get into TSO, but we just want for make sure say we actually get them the right way. So give us a second. Let's look for that. Let's look for that right now on our computer here. Let me see, where can I find that? Okay, yeah, well, we don't have it. All right, we have it right here. Okay, and so we don't get then changes then this. So right now we want to see the president don't reshuffle the security apparatus in the country. So we don't see Naya say the general public is hereby informed that it has pleased His Excellency the President, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, to announce the following appointments subject to the approval of Parliament where necessary. Major General Ibrahim Sheriff, Chief of Defense Staff; Dr. Richard Moigbe, Inspector General of Police; Brigadier General David Taluva, Deputy Chief of Defense Staff; Dr. Al-Sheikh Kamara, Deputy Inspector General of Police; Mr. Ansumana Idris, Deputy National Security Coordinator, Office of National Security; Captain Retired Sayos Mara, Director General Central Intelligence and Security Unit; Major Retired Dr. Matthew Kamara, Deputy Director General, Central Intelligence and Security Unit; Mr. Francis Aliu Munu, Ambassador to the Republic of Liberia; Lieutenant General John Milton, Deputy High Commissioner to the Federal Republic of Nigeria; Major General Mohamed N'fa Alie, Deputy High Commissioner to the Gambia. Right? We don't see waiting that actually they entail. So the top man that we've been there at the top of the military and police, the government don't send them as ambassadors to Liberia and to Nigeria, and it don't replace them with other people then. So we don't know if this gets anything for do with the ECOWAS case. We have no idea, right? If this gets anything for do with that case there at the ECOWAS court. But it is a little dramatic that the two events that happen almost simultaneously were actually one after the other. But that's what we have. And so one from M'fa, one from Mokuna, stick around as we continue for bringing the program. Stick around with us.
Of Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone. It's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard that I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone. It goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone, West Africa, and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part, and I know history will judge all of us.
Of restoring the dignity of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, that the president was not correct to remove me from office. The fiscal issue is not paramount to me. I am very pleased with the judgment we received today.
He was really talented. He's a doctor with a difference. Yes, it's going to take some time to bring the hospital back to its glorious days. It's going to take some time.
Oh, the late Dr. Mohamed N'fa Alie Conteh is so rest in perfect peace. He had passion for the job. He wanted this hospital to be the best in this country. He wanted to be see this hospital as the center of excellence in this country.
We need to check each and every individual, what you are doing. What are you offering in your own small corner that you could brighten that corner? How are you contributing in one way or the other to promote this place?
He is the kind of person, even a porter that is working in his office, sometimes he will tell the porter, go and bring me the broom today, I'm going to sweep.
But if the public didn't appreciate that whenever somebody has this kind of presentation, they should come. Because don't forget, by the time you have one contracting the disease, people are going to take care of a dead. Avoiding, hiding, taking care of that dead. Don't forget, by the time people are dead with the Ebola, they are more infectious than all. So if they take care of their burial or their own, 10 more will be infected.
man. I mean, shut up! You know you want constraint, man. If they talk about tonight, you want slamming, man. You know you want they say. Never forget violence during. You want after before the election. I mean, man, want tonight. Okay, you go catch and say. You want constraint, man. Don't go.
You are hereby sentenced to 25 years imprisonment for stabbing with intention to kill.
Mama, so now you born that pikin. We been taking copy per main man in rally. Yes. Oh, that they cannot come when the person not been die. Because if the person be die, now life imprisonment. Look now, main man in the gone with the rally, he pikin. Then don't sentence at 25 years. Do you, Mama? How much years did I pikin they want to?
20.
Oh, 20 plus 25. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh, 20 plus 25. Now 45. Take begin the comment in the door. It could not turn the adult. Oh!
Yes, sir. They are illegal because they fed for the poor one.
Legal?
Yes.
Whether you are in hand with UNDP, where them be they tell people that they want them, let party not make violence but this 2018 election. Now there they go. I want to see them.
You come round, warn you pikin, you brother, you uncle, you cousin, you buddy, you sister. Let them avoid violence. And this 2018 election, this message they come to you from Legal Aid and UNDP.
Right, of course, so now that's now the message from the Legal Aid and UNDP. Of course, violence not the party selection with the camp, right? No violence by this election when it comes. So, in fact, that takes us to the next issue what happened this past week. Of course, we don't say the National Electoral Commission don't begin to give voter registration cards then to people there, of course, and then say they get continue for give up to the 7th of this month, December 2017. And so people then they go and collect them card and but then we'll begin for seeing on social media. We'll see people that they post ID cards, then we get you know different things. Then when are problems, you know, either then get somebody in picture when a woman, but again man name, or we get two different people then we then get the same name, you know, then kind of thing, and they would understand. So we see them say at Sheriff's Broadcast Network for say this is not a very important issue. This is not a very serious issue. So we decide for talk to the chairman of the National Electoral Commission, Mr. Mohamed N'fa Alie Conteh. And so we get for joining now on the line for we'll talk about this issue live from Freetown, Sierra Leone. And of course, from when I know say this election when it comes, so very important, just like all other elections, or Sierra Leone don't get. But for let this country go move forward, because of waiting this country don't go through, for let this country able for move forward, this election will become very important. So any little things we will get, you know, we try for actually address them. Now I make we very appreciative to N'fa Alie Conteh, you know, whether the chairman for the National Electoral Commission, that anytime we'll call on him, in as much as he's so busy, it's able for make it possible for us to talk to her. And so when I stick around, we bring that interview right now, Tona. Of course, Mr. N'fa Conteh is live on the board. So stick around. Right now on the line, we get no other person but the chairman of the National Electoral Commission at Sierra Leone. Of course, not other person, Mr. Mohamed N'fa Alie Conteh. Of course, now we're going to talk to right now from Freetown, Sierra Leone on some of the questions we want to be done the same to we, now Sheriff's Broadcast Network. And of course, there can be no other person to talk to. We go able for enlighten we person. Hello, Mr. Conteh. How you do, sir?
Fine, thank you, Ibrahim.
That's good. That's good. You know, everything okay in Freetown with your family, with everything?
Well, we thank God things they go on smoothly, really. Thank God.
Okay, that's good. Good to know that. They try to talk to you today about the National Electoral Commission. Of course, plenty things that don't go on a deep and walk, and of course, we get concerns that will come inside. So we just been feel say necessary for us to go clear some of them things. Then they you go on for giving updates as to the National Electoral Commission so far, the work that I don't do in preparation for the March 7, 2018 elections. What you could tell me about waiting when I don't do at this point?
Well, thank you very much, Ibrahim.
Yes, sir.
Well, at this point, Fambule on all those things, we don't declare 7th March 2018 as the date for the elections of president, members of parliament, and local councils. That date they still stand, Fambulem. And since that time, they would only prepare to us that date. And what would mean, we don't go all out, we try to forget boundaries now, or constituencies, which are people in the contest, or ward for members of parliament, and also wards for local council elections. We now get boundaries, 132 constituencies. We also get 446 wards. In between that time, they back, we'll be able to make sure that we assist government for draw new districts. But then at the government you know, but we get boundaries, constituencies and wards to get them. 132 for members of parliament and also 446 for local council election. We also don't do the voters register, right? So now what we do, Fambulem, we distribute the cards and the voter identity cards then to everybody who didn't go register. We don't open the centers back, 3,300 centers nationwide. Now people then go and collect their ID card. Then in the western area also, we get an election, we get village head elections. And that Waterloo area, western area rural district. There are nominations and just done for those elections. For the election, then they schedule them for the 29th of December, this 2017. But for now, for the 2018 election, we distribute voter ID cards now. And then we end for distribute them on the 4th of December. That's Monday. We get a 10-day period to begin for the 25th November. We end on the 4th of December. Right.
Okay, that's good. And so you talk about voter ID cards. We don't get plenty complaints then from people them way they go get an ID cards that we get family abroad, you know, then they send pictures of some of the ID cards them. The demographic information on some of the ID cards them they're completely out of place. Like we can see woman in picture, then we see man named Pada Umande in picture, or we can see two people then with two different faces but then they carry the same name, or we can see like then can say Albert Academy Village, and so people that don't they get concerns about that. Your office don't they get any concerns like those, and if yes, what are some of the plans then for solve them problem and day before elections?
Well, Ibrahim, I want for preface this for say yes, indeed, with the voter ID card, indeed we get a few problems. But I want for left family out there know say the problems then really will get with voter ID card, then very few. We get over 3.1 million people that will register, and honestly, the problems with them card do not even reach 1%. I tell you that day, as a patriotic Sierra Leonean, as a true Sierra Leonean, But at the background, you get people and they will want for derail the electoral process. Which I mean, derail the electoral process. They not be want to let the elections be, and they know how follow will succeed. So then they go all out. We get with the tractors, with the tracks by all means for destroy we. Now what they do now, photoshopping. Some of them they do. When they get their ID card, correct one, then they go take another person in face, then put and then send on the internet, or let it look like say problems they do with the ID card. Right? If you look at, I'm sure one day said that one day where the person wear spectacles, they say snapper. No, it's not possible. Where would they snap? Nobody they wear spectacles, and they also wear particular. Right? We again will not allow that way for with the snap possible. They wear particular. These are the problems. There are people that want for destroy. If they have a correct ID card, then they put other people. But yes, I agree. Say problems and day. Right? Everywhere. As long as they do with technology, problems. But then problems they no they destroy. No, they disenfranchise anybody. Anyway, the one that we get problems definitely. Like for instance, you get some people then they. Hello, you get me?
Yes, I get you.
Okay. Let's say you get some people then they then go. All the details then they, but then face not they. We then get over 3,300 phones at all the centers, one per center. If you come, you get that kind of problem they will snap you back. When you when you get all your details but you face on they will snap you back. I will give you what you call an attestation form. Then we will give you a card later on. But even there, really the percentage is very small.
Okay. And so now we don't understand. So one of the things is we will not ever take anybody in picture we wear glasses, right?
No, we'll not ever.
Okay, so if somebody show up on election day. Yes, go ahead.
We will talk about biometrics. So the biometric details we need. And sometimes we need the face of the person, the iris, etc. So we don't take anybody we get a picture. We get glasses.
Right.
If you look at one of them, we not take that.
Yeah, we can look at one right now, Seth. Yes, that's true. So now photoshopping. Yeah, photoshopping.
Photoshopping.
Right. And so
you can kill me.
Right, definitely. So, Mr. Conteh, on election day, because waiting people that you talk back, they say the 2012 voter ID card will make it been completely different from this one. People that if you say just like how you talk, people in the Photoshop the pictures there and other demographic information. So, meaning that this voter ID card owner issue, it is easily possible for a person to alter the information on including the picture. So, when I get any mechanisms where when I don't set in place for detect anybody who try for fraud the voter process on voting day?
Yes, surely enough, we get on there and we have to let people they know say this ID card now UND print them for we print them outside, then get security features in their ID card and they just like the money within the print. The money of the United States of America, the dollar, the Sierra Leone, etc., etc. Get security features. Okay. Because not be able for waiting ourselves alone. Yes, we'll laminate them cheaply, but that's not the plan B we will get.
Okay.
And Fambu they all know say the plan A was at NCRA, National Civil Registration Authority, for do a civil register. Out of that civil register, now they will get the voters register. But civil society and political parties, then we condemn down this, so we come in. Then we decide for a multi-purpose identity card. Just like the kind card owner they get by the United States of America.
Yes.
But we now, when we don't do them, the calculation, up to $30 million for get them. $30 million for get them. So now NCRAB for distribute cards. But because the money is huge, they're not able to get it, and we want to conduct the elections on time, on the scheduled date.
Right.
Now then we come with a plan B, and this is very important formula. So the plan B, the follower will get this kind card, right? Cards with security features, laminated, to be used only on election day, for the election. Of course, people will use them for some other legal purposes, but we, now for law, will make sure we fumble them vote on election day. Now, we could print these cards there. But any attempted fraud on their cards, and the one will get the register, and that register, they get all the details of people that will register. You also get the phases of all the one that will register. we'll get them. We'll get them. So when you go, if you go multiply that card, who they get you? Do any fraud? Who they get you? We get mechanism in place, Ibrahim.
Okay, well, that's good to know that. Good to know that. So, meaning that most of the fears where some political parties then be get for say this card here easily, the information where they panel then go easily alter them. People are not going for fear that anymore because according to you, Mr. Conteh, there are security features embedded in those cards. Right.
Yes, surely enough. Security features indeed embedded in those cards. We only go advise as in all other elections, political parties forget the agents and the agents for doing every polling station. Every polling station, now they're right, we will give them. Right. Every political party to send 2 people them at every polling station for let them watch how the process will go. Any attempted fraud and report them.
Right. Okay. And so, Mr. Conteh, then this year we left around there. Now we see say when I receive a letter from government stating that they be done the issue funding to National Electoral Commission, and so you don't reach a point now. They want an accounting of them fundings. Then and if they not get the correct accounting, they need to continue for funduna. And we know say if they not continue for giving the funds then we need, it is likely possible that it will interfere with the electoral process, even to the extent that the election will take place. So waiting at the update on funding and logistics as far as NEC is concerned.
Well, again, we want to assure everybody for say the elections will hold on the 7th of March 2018. Yes, we get a letter from the ministry. Before now, over 1 month ago, I mean, funding will be very, very difficult. In fact, we've not been too sure until when we meet with the Ministry of Finance, then decide for now for you a payment plan on a weekly basis, or they give you 10 billion. They don't give out for 5 weeks now, right? The 10 billion. Well, I mean, we don't stabilize. I mean, suddenly we just don't get this letter for say they don't give you a huge chunk of money to until we account for that. I mean, that's very, very unusual, very abnormal, and I don't know that kind of really service. So, with the meet, but as far as we concerned, the electoral process will go because any of them things, it definitely halt the activities where we they undergo, where we they carry on. Because we need funding. And before now, even part of that money, they will not use it for pay debt. And let me tell you, at some point in time, definitely the elections, we will get a lot of debt. A lot of debt now, we will get.
Right.
We will get a lot of debt. So, but we don't use that money for clear with debt now. That's bravo to them. But I don't know, besides this commodity, someone just say, the minister say we are for stop. But I'm sure that go settle. Not anything really big thing for worry about.
And so let we assume say the government stand by its words for say they're not giving no more funding. You feel say without that funding, the election will still continue for take place as scheduled?
With the plan the election as scheduled.
Okay.
I mean, if government, I don't think the government will reach that level. Now, government will don't give the commitment for say, I mean, the elections they go on, and the government will don't begin for fund them.
Okay.
So I don't think they will reach that level, Ibrahim.
Okay.
No, all rest assured for say, I mean, whoever will write that letter, it will come back to intensive, and then for that will go before.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And so, Mr. Conteh, let's move on to a statutory instrument where when I introduce Parliament. We understand, say, Parliament for dissolve in less than 3 weeks from today. And when I don't introduce this legal instrument 115, where they talk about the candidature fees them. So when I get confidence for say Parliament go able for debate this instrument here and pass them into law before they dissolve, is it possible?
Well, to be exact, Parliament for suppose or dissolving on the 7th, next Thursday. Next Thursday, right? Now in Parliament they dissolve.
Okay.
These are the instruments we get for doing the nomination fees. I just remind you now, in 2012, the National Electoral Commission introduced exorbitant nomination fees. The fees have been high. So just when the nomination for the 2012 elections they come, all the political parties then come together. They say they boycott the election because the fees are high. So at that time, the current president get for pay for all political parties. And they don't criticize me. In the National Electoral Observer don't criticize me. Now against that background, we decide for meet with all the political parties for let we reduce the nomination fee. And I will also belong together with them, we reduce them. We don't stand in a parliament for the first time, then pull her out. We don't send them out for the second time. So we don't look. But apparently it look like say the willpower not there, right? The will not there for let them pass them. But in any case, we they left to the people of Sierra Leone. We don't do our own side. The National Electoral don't do the own side, and we stand by that one, and we still stand say there is need to reduce those nomination fees. Otherwise, we will get far and back the electoral process. And we now we won't stand down there. So we deal with Parliament. We left with Parliament now, and then get the supreme power to do anything way they want to do. But me go advise that Parliament for make sure say them pass our law because they hinge on the security of this country, they hinge on the electoral process, etc., etc.
Right, and you know, because plenty of people that know say Parliament can normally go through a lot of bureaucracy, and so if they get up to the 7th for made and dissolve, everybody they doubt for say then go able for do before that. So in case they're not able for pass this instrument here into a law, what in National Electoral Commission go do?
Well, we're not going to do anything. We'll stick by the current exorbitant fee. And I want for states the fee then they're high. Not to be talk on the political parties and talk on. They're high. And we left handed to them. We left hand to the political parties and the people of Sierra Leone. But we don't do we own side. But if Parliament not pass them, we stick by those exorbitant, so-called exorbitant fees. Now then we will go deal it. But we advise all those concerned, the major stakeholder concerned, let them make sure see them pass that bill there. So otherwise, we suspect it will create some problem.
Okay, yeah, definitely, because we'll be look at some of the fees then. So the one we say 30 million leons for presidential candidates, that list they won't be put now in the new one or not the old one?
Now in the new one,
Okay.
The other one have been 100,000 news. I would reduce from 100,000 news yes to that.
To 30 million. Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
And so, Mr. Conteh, plenty of people can ask and say, wait till make una left sit down, it can disclose before when they put out a sensitive statutory instrument like that one day to Parliament.
No, well, as I've been telling you, we don't put out a long before time.
Okay.
As an election management body, the timeline we will always get, we take care of time.
Okay.
We don't send them long before then. I say we send them, then throw them out. They will not send them, but we don't send a long time, right? So, but between me and you, the willpower now ain't look like they in all a day, Okay. Like I'm not gonna hide that from you as a patriotic Sierra Leonean.
Right.
The willpower for letting pass up. Right now they among certain people there. Otherwise them for don't pass up.
Yeah, and then this one back home is saying we understand say then go turn them back, for say, certain things then when are not correct certain things and so they're not they discuss them. And so when I don't try for ratify them issues then they and send them back?
We don't ratify them long time and there was enough time way by law so for we don't do that and they all.
Okay.
Even the one of them they say for correct certain things, we hold a completely different view. But we start this too. I mean, as patriotic Sierra Leonean, I hold a completely different view. We believe say we do the correct thing, but some people then they will just be feel say they're not for pass that bill into a law. That's my own view personally, and the view down of many Sierra Leoneans in
Okay. All right, we don't get you on side. So let we talk about. So when we talk about political parties, then we get for participate in the 2018 elections. Now, how many so far the Electoral Commission don't get now?
Well, as of now, we get about 14 political parties.
Okay, 13
from PPRC.
Right.
I mean, I've been 12 or 2 don't get new certificates. Right, so you don't make until 14. But with the expect to really by the close of the election, we will get something like 15 to 20 political parties.
Okay.
They expect that. But so, for now, the legally registered one who don't get that certificate, they are now they're 14.
Okay, so for the purpose of logistics and preparations, when I get any deadline, we una go accept political parties then back, or una not go accept them, any deadline for that?
Well, actually, by law, no deadline, or the people can register anytime they want. But for we get deadline, and the deadline is the nomination period. And we hope for get the nomination in January. So I think after January, when we don't do nomination, we don't think so we will accept any political party again. So we own deadline really from now on to January.
Okay, so the deadline is from now to that time. Okay, and so so Mr. Conteh, let we talk about the observers then we get for observe the Sierra Leonean election, because people then still, even though then they still say the National Electoral Commission, they do a very good job in preparation to the 2018 elections, but people then get serious issue with whether the elections will not be manipulated by the incumbent government. And so they want to know if countries then they don't register already right now for medical observe the elections, countries, organizations around the world. Do you have any idea of that?
Yes, because election observation is a feature of free, fair, transparent, credible election. The National Electoral Commission does write to various organizations at the world, the European Union, European Union, etc., ECOWAS, the African Union, and other organizations, embassies, inviting them for more than come observe the election. And so they don't come, they don't send missions. That's how they do their own preparation. So then besides that, we also get things like the organization, where they call like the National Elections Watch. That's how they for observe all the elections. Now every polling station. In fact, really, then they do a very good job in observing elections. So they're ready for both national organizations and external international organizations for can observe the election. Then also political parties, of course, as I say, themselves get tried for send agents from it and look at the election process. Okay.
Right, well, that's good. And how about security during the elections? When I don't put that one into place, we see, say, government don't change people in certain key security positions in the country, the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Staff, all them people and then at the top. So is that in any way going to affect the work of the National Electoral Commission?
No, I don't think that's going to affect the work of the National Electoral Commission. I think they're down in a government in your routine duties down there. But we and the security sector, the Office of National Security, the Sierra Leone Police, will work closely. But we'll get what you call an integrated election security project. Or they want to work with where UNDP and the donors, the kind of fund with the government of Sierra Leone for security, for provide security. That's their own. So we not think they will get any major security business really problem, because we work with the Office of National Security and the Sierra Leone Police. We work together.
Okay, so if I can ask you for summarize, waiting are your confidence level in terms of preparations, logistics, and a peaceful, transparent, and credible elections in Sierra Leone March 2018?
It's well over 90%.
Okay.
So well over that.
Okay, that's good.
Well over 90%. So I know how the family they faith.
Okay.
Well over that one.
Okay. So if we get Sierra Leoneans all over the world, they listen to you right now, what will be your message as chairman of the National Electoral Commission to them all?
Well, my message to everybody is that the National Electoral Commission will committed for conduct credible elections, right, in 2018, but we need the support of stakeholders, political parties, right, other institutions, sister institutions like the Political Party Registration Commission, right, National Commission for Democracy, the government of Sierra Leone, in terms of funding. I mean, our international partners, we need their support. But we assure everybody say we will conduct the election based on our legal framework and international best practice.
Okay. All right, Mr. Conteh, we thank you very much for your time, and of course, we appreciate you. We know you're a very busy person, but anytime we'll call you ready for talk to you about the elections in the country, and we see how hardworking you are and the transparent your organization is. I want to tell you plenty. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best in your job assignment.
Oh, thank you very much, Ibrahim. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
And
yes, and so me family, so now the National Electoral Commissioner, of course, the chairman for the National Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, Mr. Mohamed N'fa Alie Conteh, Naim be talking under just now, and of course, when I all don't see where he's coming from. So basically, me family. Now that's again for Terry. We are almost at the end of the broadcast, but for now we finish, we just want for bring camp to waiting at the letter we the government sent to the National Electoral Commission, so that we all go know. The chairman, this letter come up from the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, Secretariat, right at George Street, to the chairman, National Electoral Commission, OAU Drive, Freetown. Dear Chairman, transfer of funds to the National Electoral Commission, NEC, for the March 2018 elections. As you are aware, I had authorized the transfer of the sum of 70 billion leones to NEC with weekly disbursements of 10 billion leones effective 23rd October 2017 to ensure that NEC has the needed resources on time for the conduct of the March 2018 elections. As a result, the sum of 50 billion leones has been paid to NEC in the last 5 weeks. This is in addition to previous disbursements. You will agree with me that this is a huge chunk of money that has been disbursed within a very short time. I have therefore decided to pause at this point in order to ascertain the utilization of these resources and to ensure that certain fiduciary safeguards are in place. By this letter, I write to inform you that I will be sending the Director of Internal Audit a week from the date of this letter to work with your office in this respect. The Director of Internal Audit would require the following: bank statement for the last 6 months, summary and detailed breakdown of actual expenses incurred in implementing NEC activities, and adequate supporting document justifying the amount of funds utilized so far. So now that they don't receive me family, and so that's the point to a looming problem where could probably happen again. Now we go happen na Sierra Leone as far as this case. I mean the National Electoral Commission, they were concerned, because the government is now asking them to present these kind of things, and so we don't know if now an effort to try to postpone elections in the country or not. But yes, so me from with them today, Nyanda will get for stop so far, because we'll not get time now for don't open the lines for people that are able for calling and say what they want for say, but because we get a meeting all to go to, so we get for try for stop the broadcast from here. And so I want to tell me family them plenty thank you. I know say Dennis Koima be get concerned. I want to know if elections whether go down votes now the polling station I didn't go count the votes them, but unfortunately Mr. Conteh not go able there for answer that question then now. We'll go brand come as they go close to elections. John Kanu be the right a lot, the question government, I mean the lawyer will be the talk, and then it's coming that we get that back and forth, But anyway, we'll tell you plenty thank you from them for what we watch what you will broadcast today. We go then I also back next week, and of course once more Mina Ibrahim Sheriff, and I come to una today from Sheriff's Broadcast Network, and of course this now community network. One for tell una plenty thank you for una support, and we know one for let una fail. I mean, go to GoFundMe.com/SBN support fund. GoFundMe.com/SBN support fund. Go there, may able for support we. If you like what you would do, go now for support we. It's very important. Let you not just go to watch. You will go put small thing there, $1, $2, $10. election they come, you want for the getting kind of coverage, they will go brothers and sisters in Sierra Leone, we want for a report to we live from the front, you know, and so now there's small money they now be able to help them with. So we are looking forward to your generous donations, okay? So once more, I want for telling our plenty. Thank you very much.
Personally involved or responsible for waiting be happen that time. They have not been in any position for prevent them because minutes of the head of state or deputy head of state forget that power for stop them from happening.
At one stage, I thought we don't have more than $30 million just for economic development projects. To build one road alone, 1 kilometer of road costs you nearly $1 million. To have 1 kilowatt of electricity.
Just 4 weeks ago, we confirmed that we have 2 billion barrels of petroleum. Yes, sir. The poorest country in the world now discovers 2 billion barrels, commercially viable petroleum and gas resources on what we call our Venus plot. It's just the first one. Question: will this just be pumped out and sold to the rest of the world? Do our people not have a right to access to electricity?
Things that what I do as president, my appointment are all based on a yearly basis. Every ministerial position, every deputy positions, every ambassadorial position, every top corporation jobs them now 1 year. I give you 3 sets of goals: 3-month goals, 6-month goal, and 1 year goal. If you make it 3 months, you go to 6 months. If you make it 6-month goal, you go to 1 year. After the 1 year, all of that finish this. If the evaluation where me and my vice president get for evaluate you, if you not reach to that scorecard we talk about, they will let you go with another person who can do it.
The Supreme Court of Sierra Leone misruled against the people of Sierra Leone. And what has been done today in this court is not justice for me alone, it's justice for the people of Sierra Leone. So I have worked very hard, that I told them I will go and seek justice for you. And this I have done today in the ECOWAS Court of Justice. And this is not only limited to Sierra Leone, it goes beyond the borders of Sierra Leone, West Africa, and Africa as a whole. That the fragile democracies that we've been having in our sub-region has to transform. The maturity of it, we have to accept. As a young man in leadership, I have done my part, and I know history will judge all of us.
I think we have been fighting corruption in this country based on legislative procedures, legislation. But that's one step. I call it the one-legged solution. If we want to address the issue of corruption in Sierra Leone, we're serious about it. Those that are behind the desk of trust need to understand that they are there to serve the people, not to serve themselves.